Hello and welcome back to my channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Let's begin. Chapter 1, A New Beginning. The Mysterious Egg. The journey never truly ends, not for a trainer with a heart full of dreams. The roar of the crowd still echoed in Ketchum's ears. It felt like a dream. Every cheer, every victorious moment from the final battle against Leon replayed in his mind. He had done it. Ketchum, the boy who started his journey in Pallet Town with only a dream and his trusty Pikachu, had finally become the world champion. Pikachu, perched proudly on Ash's shoulder, buzzed with the energy of their intense battle. Its fur shimmered with the afterglow of their final fight, its tiny paws twitching as if ready for another round. Ash adjusted his cap, eyes wide with the weight of his accomplishment. The final battle had been a blur. His last few moves, the strategy, the focus, the cheers of the crowd, and that electrifying moment when Leon's Charizard had fallen. He couldn't help but grin. "Can you believe it, Pikachu? We're the world champions!" Ash exclaimed. Pikachu's eyes sparkled with excitement, its ears flicking up as if it too could hardly believe the victory. "Pika Pi," it cheered, tail wagging. Ash laughed, feeling lighter than ever. It had been a long road to get here, filled with victories, losses, moments of doubt, and growth. The years of challenges had only strengthened his bond with Pikachu and taught him countless lessons. Now, standing at the pinnacle of his journey, a new question arose in his heart. What comes next? Ash pondered softly. The journey, he realized, wasn't just about becoming the strongest. It was about continuing to push forward, learning, and discovering new things. Even though he stood as the world champion, there was always more to explore, always more to learn. He looked over at Pikachu, his loyal partner. Pikachu had always been by his side, through every victory, every defeat, every joyful moment, and every tough decision. It wasn't just about the badge collection or the titles, it was about their bond. "I'm glad we've come this far, buddy. But I want to keep going. I want to face more amazing trainers. I want to get even better." Pikachu agreed without hesitation, its tail swishing in excited agreement. "Pika Pika," it responded energetically. They had just walked away from Galar Stadium, and the evening sun was beginning to set, casting a soft golden glow over the landscape. The peaceful quiet of the moment was exactly what Ash needed after the whirlwind of the past few days. The world was finally slowing down. As they walked along the quiet countryside road, the peaceful atmosphere was suddenly shattered by a distant rumble. At first, Ash thought it was just thunder. But as he looked up, dark clouds began to swirl in the sky, blanketing the horizon. "Ah, man. Not now," he sighed. Pikachu twitched its ears, looking up at the darkening sky with a concerned squeak. "We've had enough excitement for one day, huh?" Ash said. Before he could say another word, the storm hit. The rain poured down in torrents, turning the road into a stream of water within seconds. Ash pulled his jacket over his head and groaned. Pikachu hopped onto his shoulder, clearly not enjoying the downpour either. "I guess I'm not as prepared as I thought. No umbrella or anything." Ash grinned. Pikachu shook its fur, clearly not happy about the wet weather. The two of them ran through the forest to find shelter. The rain came down harder, soaking their clothes as they dashed between the trees. The air smelled fresh and earthy, the scent of wet pine mixing with the rain. "Guess we're stuck with this weather for a while, huh?" Ash remarked. Pikachu chirped in agreement, but suddenly, its ears perked up. It stopped dead in its tracks, looking intently ahead. "What is it, Pikachu?" Ash asked, curious. Pikachu pointed toward a large, ancient-looking tree a little further into the forest. The tree's massive trunk was gnarled and twisted, its branches reaching out like the arms of an old guardian. Ash raised an eyebrow and followed Pikachu's gaze. Inside the hollow of the tree, something caught his attention, a soft, pulsing glow, as if a light source was hidden inside. "What's that?" he wondered aloud. He jogged over to the tree, Pikachu hopping along beside him. The glow grew stronger as they approached. And there, nestled in the hollow of the tree, was a Pokémon egg. But this wasn't just any ordinary egg. It was larger than most, about the size of a basketball, and its surface was smooth, covered in swirling, golden patterns that seemed to pulse with an ethereal light. Ash knelt down beside it, his eyes wide with wonder. Whoa! This is incredible. He gently reached out to touch the egg, feeling the warmth emanating from it. There was something about this egg that felt special, something important. But where had it come from? And why was it here, all alone? He scanned the surrounding area, looking for any sign of a Pokémon. There were no tracks, no nests, no signs of anything. The egg seemed to be untouched, carefully hidden away in the tree. It was almost as if it had been waiting for someone to find it. Is someone going to come back for it? He mused, looking around again, but there was nothing. Suddenly, his stomach growled loudly. Ugh! Of course. Right now, I'm starving. Maybe I should just make an omelette or... Zap! A jolt of electricity surged through Ash's body. He yelped as the electric shock sent him flying backward. He landed flat on his back, his hair standing on end. Ow, okay, not the best idea, he groaned. Pikachu stood nearby, arms crossed, its cheeks still sparking slightly from the shock. Pika, it sighed with a look of disapproval. Okay. I get it. Dumb idea. You don't have to remind me, Ash chuckled weakly. Pikachu tilted its head, clearly amused by Ash's antics. With a groan, Ash sat up and reached for the egg, gently picking it up and wrapping it in his jacket for warmth. Looks like you're coming with us, little one. Let's get out of here before we catch a cold. The rain was still coming down hard, but Ash and Pikachu made their way to a nearby cave to take shelter. Inside, they huddled close together, with Ash cradling the egg carefully. Pikachu nestled into Ash's side, its body warm against his, while the rain continued to pour outside. Ash looked down at the egg, his heart filled with a sense of awe. You know, Pikachu. I've never seen anything like this before. Something tells me this egg isn't just any ordinary Pokémon egg. Pikachu nodded as if in agreement. The cave was quiet except for the sound of the rain beating against the entrance. Ash leaned back against the cool stone, watching the egg closely. The soft glow from the Pokémon egg illuminated the cave, and Ash felt that this was the start of something important. He looked down at the egg and said, I don't know who left you here, but I'm going to take care of you. We'll figure this out together. Pikachu, curled up beside him, gave a contented squeak and closed its eyes for a quick nap. Ash smiled at his partner and then at the egg, knowing that even though he had become the world champion, this was just the beginning of a new adventure filled with discoveries. Meanwhile, in Pallet Town, Professor Oak sat at his desk, staring intently at his computer screen. His usual calm demeanor was replaced by focused urgency as he examined the patterns on the egg through an advanced scanning program. What he saw stunned him. The markings matched something from ancient records that had been long forgotten. He muttered to himself, no, it can't be. Quickly, he began typing a message, his fingers moving rapidly across the keys. Ash, if you're reading this, contact me immediately. I believe the egg you found is tied to something long forgotten. Something powerful. This could change everything. We need to meet as soon as possible. He stopped typing, staring at the message on his screen, the urgency in his eyes unmistakable. This could be the beginning of something extraordinary. To be continued. Chapter 2, The Mystery Twins and a New Journey. The rain had passed, and a pale beam of sunlight pierced through the thick canopy of the Galarian forest, casting dappled golden rays across the damp ground. The scent of wet earth hung in the air, fresh and comforting. Ash Ketchum stretched beneath a large oak tree, yawning deeply after a night spent under makeshift shelter. Pikachu stirred awake on his shoulder, rubbing its eyes before cheerfully saying, Pika. Ash chuckled, ruffling his partner's fur. Morning, buddy. Looks like the rain finally let up. The forest was still, save for the soft chirping of bird Pokémon greeting the morning. Just as Ash stood up and brushed off his jacket, his poke phone buzzed violently in his pocket. Startled, he fumbled for it and glanced at the screen. 10 missed calls from Professor Oak. Before he could question it, a strange sensation prickled against his chest, a faint warmth radiating from his jacket pocket. He reached inside and gently pulled out the Pokémon egg he had found the night before. The shell glowed faintly with golden energy, fine lines of crackling light beginning to web across its smooth surface. Then, with a sudden flash of blinding light, the egg split wide open. Ash shielded his eyes from the dazzling burst, and when the glow finally dimmed, his jaw dropped. What, two? From a single egg, 2 Pokémon had emerged, tiny shimmering figures now nestled on his lap, blinking up at him with wide, curious eyes. Pikachu gawked in surprise. The twin newborns were unlike any Pokémon Ash had ever seen. One had streaks of silver and blue, with a feathery tail and shimmering eyes like crystals. The other bore patterns of gold and crimson, its small wings slightly translucent like thin silk. They're beautiful, Ash whispered. But then, the twins began to cry loudly, their wails echoing through the trees. Pikachu flinched from the noise, and Ash panicked. Oh no, no, don't cry. His poke phone rang again, and he groaned, fumbling between trying to calm the Pokémon and answering the call. Pikachu's cheeks began to spark, clearly stressed. Pika, it muttered, then clenched its tiny fists. Pika-chu. A small jolt of thunder shock crackled into the air, not enough to harm, just enough to create a gentle pulse of static. The effect was immediate. The twins blinked, hiccuped, and then, as if soothed by the warm charge in the air, stopped crying. One gave a soft sneeze. Ash exhaled in relief. Thanks, buddy. That was close. Pikachu grinned, tail wagging proudly. Ash gently reached out his hand, moving slowly so he wouldn't scare them again. Hey there. It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you. He pulled out a couple of poke treats from his backpack and placed them between the twins. They sniffed the food and eagerly began to nibble, tails flicking happily. Ash smiled, watching them eat. Man, Brock always made taking care of Pokémon look so easy. With the twins finally calm, Ash tapped his poke phone. Professor Oak. The screen came alive, and immediately, the professor's red-faced expression filled it. Ash Ketchum. Do you know how many times I tried to call you? Ash scratched his head sheepishly. He. Sorry, Professor. I kinda got caught in the rain last night and no excuses. Oak interrupted, fuming. I've been trying to reach you for something urgent, and you vanish into the forest. Ash raised a finger. Okay, but I've got something urgent too. You're not gonna believe this. Oak squinted. Go on. Ash turned his phone to show the twins, now curled up on his lap. I found a Pokémon egg, and it hatched this morning. But look, 2 Pokémon came out of it. Oak's jaw dropped. A twin birth? That's extraordinarily rare. Right? Ash grinned. But that's not the weird part. My Pokédex couldn't identify them. No data at all. Oak's tone shifted instantly, eyes narrowing. No data, huh? That is interesting. He rubbed his chin thoughtfully, then suddenly snapped his fingers. Ash, I think I know what's going on. You may have discovered something incredibly important. Ash leaned forward, curious. What do you mean? Oak replied, just yesterday, I received a message from Professor Vihan Singh. He's one of the top Pokémon researchers in India. He recently discovered new Pokémon species that have never been documented before. Ash's eyes widened. Wait. India? You're saying these Pokémon are from India? It's possible, Oak nodded. Professor Vihan mentioned several undocumented Pokémon habitats exclusive to the Indian subcontinent. If those twins match his findings, you've stumbled on something groundbreaking. Ash's thoughts raced. An undiscovered region, unknown Pokémon. But how did the egg get to Galar, he asked. That's the mystery, Oak admitted. But here's the thing, Professor Vihan invited me to join him in India. And I think, you should come too. Ash's breath caught. Me? Go to India? Oak smiled. Exactly. A whole new region, Ash. Untouched wilderness, powerful trainers, an open Pokémon League. Think of what you could learn. Think of the bonds you could form. Ash's heart swelled at the thought of a brand new journey filled with new Pokémon and challenges. He clenched his fist. Professor Oak. Count me in. Pikachu bounced with excitement. Pika Pika. Oak laughed. Good. Head to Luminous City in Kalos. Alexa will have your flight tickets ready. I'll meet you in India, Ash said, saluting as he packed his things. He looked down at the twins. All right, you two. Ready to see the world? The twins chirped in unison and nuzzled against him. Ash scanned the forest, scratching his chin. Now, how do we get out of here? Just then, a shadow passed overhead. A wild braviary soared through the morning mist. Ash's eyes gleamed. Perfect. Pikachu Thunderbolt. Pika. Chu. A jolt of electricity blasted upward, causing the braviary to squawk as it spiraled to the ground. Ash sprinted over and tossed a poke ball. 1 bounce, 2, click. Braviary's mine. With a confident grin, he turned to the twins. How about you two? They looked at each other and nodded. Ash held up 2 Pokeball, gently tapping them to the twins. The ball shook, pulsed with light, and sealed. Welcome to the team. Later that afternoon, Ash soared through the skies on Braviary's back, flying over the Kalos countryside toward Luminous City. Pikachu leaned into the wind on his shoulder, squeaking with joy. The city skyline appeared on the horizon, golden in the afternoon light. Ash landed just outside the main gate, recalling Braviary, and was immediately greeted by Alexa. Ash, she called. I've got your tickets right here. Your flight's tomorrow morning. Thanks, Alexa. Ash grinned, accepting the envelope. As she left, Ash paused, looking at the forest beyond Luminous, a familiar feeling tugging at his heart. Kalos, he whispered. Pikachu tilted its head. Pika. Ash's eyes lit up. Pikachu, we're in Kalos. Let's visit Greninja. Deep within the Kalos forests, Ash walked silently, memories tugging at every tree and path. His bond with Greninja had never truly faded. As he stepped into the clearing where they had once parted ways, something stirred. A shadow blurred through the trees, and then Greninja landed silently before him. Both froze, and for a moment, time seemed to stop. Ash's voice cracked. Greninja. It's been so long. Greninja's fierce eyes softened as he stepped forward. Ash did the same, and they embraced not as trainer and Pokémon, but as long-lost friends reunited. Tears stung Ash's eyes. I missed you, buddy, Pikachu sniffled behind him. Then, like old times. Greninja, one battle. Ash grinned. Greninja smirked and nodded. The battle raged, Pikachu versus Greninja. Fast, intense, and powerful. Their bond shone in every move, every counter. In the end, a tie. Both collapsed, grinning. Greninja stood up and reached for Ash's hand, a silent request. Ash stared, stunned. You, want to come with me? Greninja nodded. Ash hesitated. But, you were guarding the forest. Greninja looked to the sky, then back to Ash. His mission with Sigurd was over. The Kalos forest was safe. Now, his journey could continue at Ash's side. Ash's heart swelled. Alright, partner. Welcome back. That night, at the airport terminal, Ash stood tall, Pikachu on his shoulder, Greninja at his side, 3 new Pokémon on his belt, and in his heart fire. A new region awaited. A new dream began. Just wait, India, he whispered. We're on our way. He stepped onto the plane, eyes set on the horizon. Chapter 3, An Unexpected Encounter with Onik. Ash and Pikachu stepped into the airport, their hearts pounding with excitement. A brand new adventure awaited them. This is it, buddy. Our next journey. Ash grinned, his eyes shining with anticipation. Pika Pika. Pikachu cheered, his tail wagging eagerly. But their excitement didn't last long. Right in front of them stretched the longest security line Ash had ever seen. His smile vanished. Wait. This line. It's moving slower than a slowpoke taking a nap. Pika. Pikachu sighed, ears drooping. With no other choice, Ash slumped into a nearby chair, arms crossed. This is gonna take forever. He puffed out his cheeks like a Jigglypuff about to burst. After a few minutes, impatience got the better of him. He jumped to his feet. Alright, I can't just sit here. Let's walk around a bit, Pikachu. Pikachu happily hopped onto his shoulder. Pika. But, in true Ash fashion, he wasn't paying attention to where he was going. And then bam. He crashed straight into someone. Both trainers tumbled to the floor with a loud thud. Their Pokémon landed gracefully on their feet, looking down at their trainers with amused smirks. Ash sat up, rubbing his head. Ow. That hurt. His Pikachu chuckled. Pikachu Pika. The other Pikachu laughed too. Pika Pi. Ash quickly got to his feet, brushing off his jacket. Oh man, I'm so sorry, buddy. And you too, my friend, he froze. The trainer in front of him looked familiar. Alexa. No, not Alexa. But close. Ash squinted. Wait. Alexa. Is that you? The woman giggled. Yep. But I guess I look different now, huh? I changed my style a bit. Guess it worked. Ash let out a sheepish chuckle. Yeah, you totally had me confused there for a second. Just then, the trainer standing beside her stepped forward. Hey, no worries. I'm Onik Rajput, and this is my Pikachu, my best buddy. I'm from India. Ash's face lit up. Wait. You're from India? No way. I'm actually heading there for my next adventure. Onik's jaw dropped. What? You're going to India too? That's insane. He laughed, shaking his head. I just finished competing in the Kalos League, and when Alexa found out that I'm from India, she got super curious. She decided to tag along with me and suggested we visit Professor Vihan together. Before Ash could respond, a voice echoed through the airport speakers. Attention, passengers. Due to technical issues, today's flight from Kalos to India has been cancelled. Our services will resume in 2 days. We apologize for the inconvenience. A wave of disappointment spread through the airport. People groaned. Some sighed loudly. Alexa checked her phone and sighed. Well, that's that. Looks like we're stuck here for 2 more days. I have some work to do, so I'll catch up with you guys later. Take care. She waved and walked off. Ash and Onik exchanged looks. Guess we better find a place to stay, Ash said. Onik nodded. Pokémon Center. A few minutes later, inside the Pokémon Center, they were greeted by the ever-smiling Nurse Joy. Hello. Welcome to the Pokémon Center, she said cheerfully. Ash grinned. Hi, Nurse Joy. Could you check our Pokémon? Mine too, please. Onik added. Of course. Nurse Joy said, taking their Pokeball. Come back in about half an hour. With their Pokemon in Nurse Joy's care, Ash and Onik booked a room. As soon as they entered, they both collapsed onto their beds, staring at the ceiling. 5 seconds of silence. Then, this SCKS, Ash muttered. Onik groaned. 2 days wasted, with nothing to do, they both sighed, feeling like kids stuck inside on a rainy day. Finally, Ash turned to Onik. So, you competed in the Kalos League? How far did you get? Onik smirked. Oh, I won. Ash shot up so fast, he nearly fell off the bed. You won the Kalos League? Onik nodded proudly. Yep. My Pikachu, Greninja, and the rest of my team fought their hearts out. Ash's jaw dropped in amazement. That's incredible. And you have a Greninja too? Onik chuckled. Yeah, and here's the funny part: when I was training, a lot of gym leaders mentioned a certain trainer with a special Greninja. They said his name was Ash Ketchum. Ash smiled, feeling nostalgic. Yeah. That was me. Onik's eyes widened in disbelief. No way. Really? What happened to your Greninja? Ash's smile faded slightly. After the Kalos League, Greninja left to help Sigurd protect Kalos. It took 4 years, but now he's finally back on my team. Onik grinned. That's amazing. We have to battle one day. Ash's eyes sparkled with excitement. Oh, it's on. But I need to train first, Greninja, and I need to rebuild our bond. They spent hours talking, sharing stories, laughing about past mistakes, and dreaming about future battles. Finally, they got up and headed back to Nurse Joy. Nurse Joy, can we get our Pokemon back? Ash asked. Nurse Joy smiled warmly. Of course. Your Pokemon are fully healed. She handed them their Pokeball. Thanks, Nurse Joy. Ash and Onik said in unison. Outside, under the bright moonlight, they stepped onto the Pokemon Center's battle arena. Ash cracked his knuckles. Alright, time to see what you've got. Onik smirked. Hope you're ready. Both trainers grabbed their Pokeball. Ash sent out Pikachu, Greninja, and Braviary, along with 2 mysterious Pokemon. Onik sent out Pikachu, a shiny Greninja, Sylveon, Talonflame, Lucario, and Pangoro. Their teams stood to the side, watching like an audience before a big match. In the middle of the battlefield, the 2 Greninja locked eyes. A cool breeze passed through, heightening the tension. This was going to be epic. Meanwhile, back at the airport, a shadowy figure stood near the runway, watching the planes. A chilling wind swept through the night, rustling their coat. Their eyes gleamed under the dim airport lights. Behind them, something stirred. A pair of glowing eyes cut through the darkness, a Pokemon lurking in the shadows. The figure smirked. So. He's finally heading to India. To be continued. Chapter 4, Shiny Greninja Bond Evolution. The night air was cold and sharp, filled with the tension of an impending storm. Ash and Onik stood face to face on the Pokemon Center's battlefield, the moonlight gleaming off the polished stone beneath their feet. The 2 Greninja mirrored each other's stances, muscles coiled and eyes locked, like reflections across time. Ash adjusted his cap, determination burning in his eyes. Alright, Greninja, it's time to show them what we've learned over the last 4 years. Onik narrowed his eyes, his smirk sharp. I wouldn't count me out just yet. A chilling breeze swept through the battlefield. The night seemed to hold its breath. Battle begin. Onik moved first. Greninja Water Shuriken. Onik's Greninja spun, forming 2 glowing blue shurikens above its hands and hurled them forward with incredible speed, the air splitting with a sharp whistle. Ash's eyes flashed. Dodge and counter with Aerial Ace. Ash's Greninja crouched low, vanishing into a blur of motion. The water shuriken sliced through the air where it had been standing, but Greninja was already above Onik's, arms glowing white. Onik's eyes sharpened. Protect. A shimmering green barrier snapped into place just before Ash's Greninja struck. Sparks exploded as Aerial Ace clashed with the shield, the shockwave whipping through the field and rustling the nearby trees. Ash smirked. Not bad, but you're going to have to do better than that. Onik's grin widened. Oh, I intend to. Greninja double team. Onik's Greninja split into a dozen identical copies, each flickering like a shadow. The clones circled Ash's Greninja, eyes gleaming beneath the moonlight. Ash narrowed his eyes. Water pulse full spread. Ash's Greninja spun in place, gathering a glowing sphere of water between its hands. It released the attack in a wide arc. Water bullets shot through the battlefield, crashing through the clones and evaporating them in bursts of mist. Onik's Greninja materialized behind Ash's Greninja, its eyes flashing. Now Night Slash. Onik's Greninja's arms glowed dark purple as it slashed down. Ash's eyes sharpened. Shadow Sneak. Ash's Greninja's shadow shot forward, tendrils of darkness wrapping around Onik's Greninja's wrist, locking it in place. Finish it, Water Shuriken. Ash's Greninja summoned 5 glowing blue shurikens and launched them point blank. But Onik's Greninja twisted at the last second, the shuriken slicing through the edge of its scarf instead of hitting directly. Onik's jaw tightened. You're playing with me, aren't you? Ash's Greninja stood tall, crossing its arms, its gaze calm and calculating, almost mocking. Ash smiled faintly. He's not even trying yet. Onik's breath hitched. Not even trying. Onik clenched his fist. Greninja, we're not holding back anymore. Onik's Greninja crouched low, water swirling around its feet. The air around it vibrated with power. Suddenly, Ash's Greninja's eyes darted toward the sky. Its head tilted slightly. Onik's Greninja reacted the same way. Ash frowned. What is it? Onik's eyes narrowed. Someone's watching us. Ash scanned the dark tree line beyond the battlefield. A chilling presence stirred the air, cold and calculating. But no one emerged from the shadows. Ash shook it off. Let's finish this. Onik nodded. Agreed. Onik raised his hand. Greninja, let's go. Ash mirrored him. Greninja once more. A golden glow surrounded both Greninja. The energy between them surged. Their scarves flared upward as their bodies flickered with radiant light. Onik's breath hitched. This feeling. Ash's eyes sharpened. Yeah, it's bond phenomenon. Onik and Ash shouted in unison, Greninja bond evolve. A wave of light exploded across the battlefield. Ash's Greninja's form streamlined, its body outlined in golden light. 10 massive golden shurikens hovered behind it, spinning lazily. Its eyes blazed gold. Onik's Greninja's body glowed deep crimson, its scarf twisting upward like a blade of fire. Onik pointed forward. Water Shuriken max power. Onik's Greninja hurled a massive blue shuriken. Ash's eyes narrowed. Greninja, let's finish this. Ash's Greninja formed a golden shuriken 20 times larger than a normal one, gleaming with white-hot light. It hurled the attack forward with blinding speed. The 2 shurikens collided. A shockwave burst through the battlefield, blowing Ash and Onik backward. Dust and water sprayed into the air. As the dust settled, Onik's Greninja knelt, panting. Its arms shook. It collapsed to one knee. Ash's Greninja stood tall, golden light flickering off its form. Onik's eyes widened. No way. Ash smiled faintly. That's 4 years of experience. Onik's Greninja fainted. Ash approached Onik, holding out his hand. Good battle. Onik grinned despite himself. He clasped Ash's hand. Next time. I'm winning. Ash's smile widened. Looking forward to it. A dark shadow moved through the smoke-streaked runway. The twisted wreckage of a plane lay scattered across the ground. Jessie coughed, struggling to stand. What's happening? James stumbled to his feet, clutching his head. We didn't even do anything this time. Meowth's fur bristled. Something's not right. A low growl echoed through the smoke. A humanoid figure emerged, a Pokémon, tall and slender, with jagged black tendrils spiraling around its body. Its crimson eyes gleamed beneath the shadows. Pathetic. Jessie screamed. What is that? The creature raised a clawed hand toward the wreckage. Its eyes glowed dark violet. A surge of psychic energy wrapped around Jessie, James, and Meowth, lifting them into the air. A small Pokémon crawled from the debris, scarred and trembling. It was a baby Eevee. The humanoid Pokémon's gaze softened as it lowered its hand, causing the energy to dissipate and dropping Team Rocket into a heap. Protecting the weak. Jessie murmured as the humanoid Pokémon extended its hand. The Eevee cautiously approached, nuzzling against its leg. The Pokémon's eyes softened, but then it turned sharply toward the battlefield, sensing the tension in the air. Back at the battlefield, a deep rumble shook the ground beneath Ash and Onik's feet. Onik's eyes narrowed. What was that? Ash adjusted his cap. Trouble. A massive explosion lit up the night sky in the distance, flames roaring upward from the airport. Ash's breath caught. That's near the airport. Onik clenched his fists. We need to go now. Turning toward his Greninja, Ash exchanged a determined glance. No words were needed. Let's see what's going on, Ash said, his fists tightening. Onik's voice was sharp. Yeah. Something's coming. Above them, a shadowy figure stood in the distance, its crimson eyes gleaming with quiet menace before it disappeared into the night. Ash and Onik exchanged a glance, and Ash's eyes darkened. It's not over. Chapter 5, A Mysterious Encounter. Ash's Greninja stood tall, victorious after defeating Onik's Greninja. Beads of sweat rolled down Ash's forehead as he smiled. Greninja, we did it, he exclaimed, raising his hand for a high five. Greninja responded with excitement, slapping his paw against Ash's hand. Onik sighed, returning his fainted Greninja to its Pokeball. Yeah. Rub it in, why don't you? Ash grinned. Come on, Onik. That was a great battle. Onik scoffed. Yeah, right. Tell that to my Greninja's bruised ego. Just as Ash was about to reply, a deafening explosion ripped through the air. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and a shockwave of heat and pressure knocked them back. Ash's eyes widened. What the? Onik stumbled, clutching his arm. Did you feel that? Without hesitation, Ash and Onik recalled their Pokémon and bolted toward the source of the explosion. Hey, Ash! Onik yelled while running. That direction leads to the airport. Ash's heart pounded. What? Okay, let's go fast. Pikachu clung tightly to Ash's shoulder, his ears twitching in agitation as they sprinted toward the thick column of smoke rising into the sky. When Ash and Onik reached the airport, they froze. A passenger plane lay in ruins, flames consuming its broken hull. Black smoke curled toward the sky as the sound of crackling fire mixed with the panicked screams of passengers and the blaring sirens of emergency vehicles. Firefighters scrambled to control the blaze, directing streams of water at the wreckage. Security personnel shouted orders as terrified passengers stumbled away from the scene, clutching their belongings and each other. Ash's breath hitched. No, this is. But that wasn't the most shocking part. Hovering above the wreckage was a mysterious humanoid Pokémon. Its sleek black body pulsed with an eerie purple glow, and piercing red eyes scanned the chaos below. Jagged, dark energy flickered around its slender frame, crackling through the air like lightning. Ash's mouth fell open. It can't be. The figure's gaze sharpened. Slowly, it raised one hand, and a shimmering psychic barrier formed around a group of frightened baby Pokémon trapped near the flames. The barrier floated upward, carrying them gently toward safety. That looks like. Onik's voice trailed off, his face pale. The Pokémon's gaze darkened. Its other hand twitched, and a wave of psychic energy shot toward Team Rocket, who were sneaking away through the debris. Ah! Team Rocket was blasted into the sky, spiraling uncontrollably. Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again. The mysterious Pokémon then turned toward Ash and Onik, its glowing red eyes locking onto them. You humans. We're late to come. Ash's eyes widened, his breath hitching. It talked. Before Ash could respond, the Pokémon's body shimmered with dark energy and vanished into the sky. Ash and Onik stood frozen. Onik rubbed his eyes. Did that just happen? Ash's hand curled into a fist. It looked like Mutwo. But different. Onik's brow furrowed. Yeah, but Mutwo wouldn't act like that, right? I mean, saving Pokémon. Blasting Team Rocket. That's not exactly evil behavior. Ash shook his head. No. This one felt darker. Before they could process it further, Officer Jenny arrived with the fire brigade. She approached them with a serious expression, her Growlithe trotting beside her. Did you two see anything? Jenny asked, her eyes sharp. Ash and Onik exchanged glances. Yeah. Ash hesitated. We saw Team Rocket trying to sneak away. Jenny frowned. Team Rocket, huh? She sighed. Guess some things never change. Onik leaned toward Ash. Are we seriously not going to mention the creepy talking psychic Pokémon? He whispered. Ash shook his head. Not yet. Jenny's gaze lingered on them. All right. We'll investigate further. After answering a few more questions, Ash and Onik left the scene and headed toward the Pokémon Center. That night in the Pokémon Center, Ash lay on the bed in his room, staring at the ceiling. Pikachu was curled up beside him, his fur slightly damp from a quick bath. It couldn't be Mutwo. Could it? He closed his eyes, replaying the moment in his head. The shape, the psychic energy, the voice, it was similar to Mutwo, but darker. Stronger. Pikachu stirred beside him and gave a soft Pika. Ash sighed and pulled the blanket over his head. I need sleep. The next morning at the airport, Ash and Onik stood in front of the ticket counter, facing a line that stretched so far it might have reached the next town. Pikachu groaned. Pika. Ash rubbed his face. Oh man, this is worse than waiting for Professor Oak to finish his research reports. Onik sighed. We might as well grow old here. Suddenly, a cheerful voice called out. Ash. Ash turned and saw a familiar face cutting through the line. Alexa. Alexa waved at them with a grin. Ash and Onik hurried toward her. Hey. What are you doing here? Ash asked. Alexa tucked her hair behind her ear. Same as everyone else, our flight was destroyed, so I'm here for a refund. Ash groaned. That's great. But. Alexa's eyes gleamed. I'm close to the front, only 4 or 5 people ahead of me. If you give me your tickets now, I can get them refunded for you and give them back afterward. No point in all of us standing in line, right? Onik's eyes narrowed. What's the catch? Alexa smirked. No catch. Just efficiency. Ash and Onik exchanged glances, thinking it over for a second. Then Ash shrugged. Makes sense. Onik sighed and handed over his ticket. Fine. Don't mess it up. Alexa's smile widened as she took their tickets. Relax. A few minutes later, Alexa returned with 3 refunds. Done. Ash's jaw dropped. That fast? Alexa smirked. Told you. Efficiency. Ash stared at the refund. So. Now what? Just then, his phone buzzed in his pocket. He picked up the device and saw Professor Oak's name on the screen. Hello. Ash. Oak's voice sounded relieved. Good timing. Are you still stuck? Ash scratched his head. Actually. We just got our refund. Oak's tone sharpened. Good. I've already spoken with a friend of mine. They have 3 ships for India, and it will depart at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So if you manage to come tonight to Vermilion City, then there's a way to go to India. Ash's eyes widened. Seriously? That's perfect. Yes, but you'll want to secure a spot quickly. There will be a lot of trainers on board. Ash grinned. Thanks, Professor. Be careful, Ash. I have a strange feeling about this. Ash hung up and turned to Alexa and Onik. Alright, change of plans. We're going to Vermilion City. Onik's brow furrowed. How are we supposed to get to Kanto from here? Ash smirked. We'll figure it out. Onik rolled his eyes. Of course we will. Alexa crossed her arms. Unless you've got a spare jet hidden somewhere, we're stuck. Ash's gaze darkened as a thought struck him. Unless. Pikachu's ears twitched. That I know who might be able to help. Onik's eyes widened. No. No, no, no. You're not seriously thinking about. Ash's smirk widened. Yes, of course. Onik's face twisted in disbelief. Don't be ridiculous, Ash. How is he going to help? And where are we even supposed to find him? Ash's grin sharpened. Yeah, you're right. But do you have a better idea? Onik groaned. We're going to be in trouble. Alexa's eyes narrowed. You really think that Pokémon would help us? Ash's gaze darkened. I don't know. But there's only one way to find out. Pikachu's cheeks sparked with excitement. Pika. Onik rubbed his face. Oh man. This is crazy. Ash turned toward the city skyline, his eyes glinting with quiet determination. All right. Let's find him. To be continued. Morning arrived with a crisp chill in the air as the bright sunlight filtered through the towering skyscrapers of Lumio City. It was 10 a.m., and Ash, Onik, and Alexa stood at the center of the city, determined to carry out the search they had carefully planned an hour earlier. All right, let's split up and cover more ground, Ash said, tightening his cap. We don't have much time. Onik crossed his arms. Where exactly should we start? This city is massive. Alexa adjusted her camera strap. We need to focus on places where psychic energy might be strongest. Dark Mutwo isn't going to be out in the open. Ash nodded. Good point. Let's search the major landmarks, Prism Tower, the North Boulevard, and the Underground Plaza. Keep your Pokémon ready in case anything happens. They agreed on the plan and separated into 3 directions. Ash took the path toward Prism Tower, the heart of Lumio City. The streets were bustling with people and Pokémon alike. Pikachu sat on his shoulder, its ears twitching as they scanned the area. Ash stopped at a street vendor. Excuse me, have you seen any strange Pokémon around here? Maybe a psychic type? The vendor shook his head. Sorry, kid. Haven't seen anything unusual. Ash sighed and continued down the street. He checked around the tower's perimeter, even climbed to the observation deck, but there was no sign of Mutwo. His frustration began to grow. Pikachu, do you sense anything? Ash asked. Pikachu's ears twitched. Pika. It shook its head. Ash sat on the edge of the observation deck, his gaze drifting across the city. Where are you, Mutwo? Onik searched the North Boulevard, his Greninja walking silently beside him. He entered several shops and cafes, casually asking people if they had seen any mysterious Pokémon. Most responses were either confused stares or a polite, no. Still nothing. Onik muttered, stepping out of a cafe. Suddenly, Greninja tensed. Its eyes narrowed toward a dark alley. You sense something? Onik asked. Greninja nodded. Onik followed its gaze and cautiously stepped into the alley. A strange energy lingered in the air, cold and heavy. Onik called out, Mutwo. Are you there? No response. But he couldn't shake the feeling that someone, or something, was watching him. After a few tense minutes, he gave up and returned to the main street. Alexa explored the underground plaza, the dimly lit tunnels bustling with vendors and trainers. Her Noivern flew just above her shoulder, scanning the area with its echolocation. Excuse me, Alexa stopped a local trainer. Have you noticed any powerful Pokémon around here? Maybe a psychic type? The trainer frowned. No, but there was a strange energy yesterday near the old train station. Alexa's eyes lit up. Thanks. She hurried to the station, but when she arrived, the place was empty. The energy was faint, almost like it had been masked. She frowned, taking out her camera and snapping a few pictures. Noivern, let's keep moving. 7 hours had passed. By 5 p.m., the three of them regrouped at a park bench in the city, exhausted and frustrated. The golden light of the setting sun cast long shadows across the grass. Nothing, Onik sighed, leaning back. Same, Alexa added, sitting down. Ash rubbed his forehead. We're running out of time. If we don't find a way to go back tonight, Alexa said, her voice low, we'll be stuck here for a month. A heavy silence followed. Suddenly, Ash felt a light touch on his shoulder. His eyes widened. There was no sense of danger, but the touch felt deliberate. Did you feel that? Ash asked. Before they could react. Flash. A burst of light engulfed them, and the next moment, they found themselves standing inside the Vermilion City Pokémon Center. Ash blinked, his heart racing. What just happened? Alexa and Onik looked around in shock. Other trainers and Pokémon inside the center were staring at them. Onik rubbed his eyes. How did we get here? Alexa's mouth fell open. Ash. Is this Vermilion City? Ash looked around in disbelief. Then his expression shifted to happiness. Yeah. Yeah, it is. But how? Onik's brow furrowed. We were in Lumio City seconds ago. Ash's face grew serious. When we were sitting on that bench, I felt someone touch my shoulder. Alexa's eyes widened. Mutwo. Maybe, Ash replied. But at least we're here now. Ash took out his poke gear and dialed Professor Oak. Oak's familiar voice answered. Ash. I was about to call you. Professor. We made it to Vermilion City. Good. I've already spoken to an old friend who works at the port, Professor Oak said. He told me there's one last ship departing tomorrow from Vermilion Port, heading toward Mumbai Port in India. It's nearly full, so you'll need to hurry and secure your tickets. Once you arrive in Mumbai City, you'll meet Professor Vihan, he'll be expecting you. Mumbai? Ash repeated. Got it. Oak's tone turned serious. Be careful, Ash. Mutwo's power is unpredictable. Understood. After hanging up, Ash turned to the others. Looks like we've got a ship to catch. By 7 p.m., they arrived at the Vermilion Port ticket counter. The sun had dipped below the horizon, and the air carried a cool breeze. Ash frowned as he approached the counter. Looks like we're late. The ticket clerk raised an eyebrow. You're lucky, last few tickets are left. Ash reached for his wallet and paused when he saw the price. His face fell. That's expensive. Onik smirked. Don't be such a baby, be a man. Alexa rolled her eyes. Just pay for it, Ash. Ash handed over the money, his expression like a child forced to give up his candy. Once they got their tickets, Ash sighed in relief. Okay. We're set. Onik stretched his arms. Finally, some progress. Alexa smiled. Looks like things are starting to turn around. Ash's gaze turned toward the sea. Somewhere out there, Mutwo was waiting, and they were getting closer. Chapter 7, A Mysterious Nightmare and Professor Vihan. Ash's voice echoed into the darkness. His heart pounded as Pikachu's small figure moved farther away. The ground beneath his feet felt soft and unstable, like walking on shadows. His breath quickened. Hey, Pikachu, wait. Don't leave me behind. Why can't I catch up to you? Suddenly, the dark void twisted, melting into a blinding white expanse. Ash shielded his eyes as the light consumed the scene. When his vision cleared, a tall figure stood in the distance, pulsing with dark energy. Piercing red eyes glowed beneath its horned crown. Ash's legs trembled. What is that? Pikachu reached the figure and froze as dark tendrils wrapped around its body. Pikachu screamed. Pikachu! Don't leave me alone. Come back. The figure's eyes sharpened. Its cold voice echoed through the void. Human, you are late again. You are nothing but a little bug. You can't stop what's coming. Dark Mutwo's energy flared violently. A crushing wave of psychic energy ripped through the space. Ash screamed and woke up. Ash shot upright, drenched in sweat. His breath came in sharp gasps as his eyes darted around the dark room. Pikachu was curled up beside him, sleeping peacefully. Ash scooped him into his arms, holding him tightly. Pika. Pikachu stirred, releasing a small shock of static. Onik stepped into the room, holding a glass of water. Here. Take this. Ash drank deeply, his breathing slowly steadying. Alexa sat beside him. Bad dream? Ash sighed, rubbing his eyes. Yeah, pretty bad. Dark Mutwo. Onik guessed. Ash hesitated. He was holding Pikachu. I couldn't stop him. Alexa's expression darkened. Dark Mutwo again. Onik leaned back. It was just a dream, Ash. Ash shook his head. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt real. The next morning, sunlight glinted off the deep blue waves. Trainers and their Pokémon filled the deck, chatting and battling. A fresh breeze swept through the air. Wow, so many trainers, Ash said, leaning on the railing. Let's check it out, Alexa suggested. They wandered among the trainers. Some were trading Pokémon, others were locked in intense battles. Onik leaned over the railing, looking pale. Pikachu sat beside him, equally sick. Ash hurried over. Hey, are you two okay? Onik groaned. Seasickness. Pikachu let out a weak Pika. Ash and Alexa helped them back to their room. Onik collapsed onto the bed while Pikachu curled up at his side. They'll be fine after some rest, Alexa said. Come on, Ash. Let's give them some time. Ash hesitated, then nodded. Yeah. Okay. A friendly challenge. Back on the deck, Alexa ran off with her camera. Where are you going? Ash called. To interview some trainers about their Pokémon bonds. Ash chuckled, leaning on the railing. A trainer with a Lucario stood nearby. You're Ash Ketchum, right? The trainer asked with a confident smirk. Ash grinned. Yeah. How about a quick battle? Ash's grin widened. You're on. Onik, looking slightly pale but determined, joined him. Mind if I join? The trainer smiled. A 2-on-2 battle? Even better. The trainer released Lucario and Garchomp. Ash called out Greninja, while Onik sent out Pikachu. Lucario blurred toward Greninja with Force Palm. Greninja parried with Water Shuriken, spinning through the air and landing on the railing. Garchomp's Earthquake shattered the deck beneath Pikachu, but Pikachu leaped above the shockwave and slammed down with Iron Tail. Ash and Onik exchanged a glance. Let's finish it. Ash shouted. Greninja's Water Shuriken spun toward Lucario at the same moment Pikachu's Thunderbolt shot toward Garchomp. The two attacks combined, exploding into a brilliant flash of water and lightning that sent both opponents crashing backward. The trainer recalled his Pokémon, stunned. Wow, that was insane. Ash and Onik high-fived. We make a pretty good team. Pika Pika. Pikachu agreed. 10 days later, the ship docked at Mumbai port. The humid air buzzed with noise as the crowded harbor bustled with activity. The scent of skis and saltwater filled the air. A tall man in a white lab coat with glasses stood at the edge of the dock, waving. Professor Vihan. Ash called. Vihan smiled warmly. Welcome to India, Ash. Ash stepped off the ship with Onik and Alexa behind him. Onik stretched. It's good to be back. Vihan adjusted his glasses. Come with me. We have a lot to discuss. They climbed into a sleek black car. The streets of Mumbai were alive with honking autos, chattering pedestrians, and colorful market stalls. Wow! Ash's eyes widened. I've never seen so many people in one place. Vihan smiled. India's population is larger than most regions combined. After half an hour, they reached a large building that looked more like a house than a lab. Is this your lab or your house? Ash asked. Vihan chuckled. Both. Let's go inside. Vihan led them to a cozy sitting room. Sit here. I'll be right back. A few minutes later, he returned with tea and cookies. This region is called Velhara, Vihan explained. It's rich in tradition, Pokémon diversity, and the bonds of family and friendship. Ash smiled. Sounds awesome. Vihan's gaze sharpened. Ash. I have a feeling you'll play an important role here. Ash's smile faded. What do you mean? Vihan's expression softened. Relax. For now, just enjoy your time here. Vihan turned to Onik. Congratulations on winning the Kalos League. Onik smiled shyly. Thanks. Vihan held out his hand. Onik's Pikachu jumped into his arms. It's been a while, little one. After chatting about their journey, Vihan took them to his lab. Inside, 3 unique starters sat together, eating from their bowls. Ash and Alexa leaned closer. Wow! We've never seen these Pokémon before. Vihan smiled. They're unique to this region. You'll learn more about them soon enough. Ash's eyes gleamed with excitement. I can't wait. To be continued. Wow, they look so cool and cute. Alexa exclaimed, her smile brightening the room. Professor Vihan nodded, stepping closer to the Pokémon display. Sure, let me tell you about these starters. He began to explain. First, we have the fire starter, Cublaze. It's a lion cub with a muscular frame, its striking reddish-orange fur adorned with black stripes that flicker like flames. This Pokémon is known for being a fierce yet loyal companion, with its flame burning brighter when excited or in battle. Next is the grass starter, Sproutalon, he continued. This baby eagle has soft green feathers and plant-like features. Its wings are tipped with leafy patterns, and its bright amber eyes gleam with intelligence. Sproutalon is quick and sharp, able to sense danger from afar. And finally, the water starter, Aquor, Professor Vihan said, showcasing a sleek baby serpent. With deep blue scales and silver markings, Aquor glides through water effortlessly. Its calm nature makes it an excellent partner in battle. Ash's eyes sparkled with excitement. Alexa, they are so cute. Pikachu squeaked in agreement from Ash's shoulder. Professor Vihan turned to Onik. Since you've returned to the Velhara region after a year of traveling through Kalos, don't you think it's time to visit your family? Onik's eyes widened. Oh. Yeah. I kinda forgot while having fun with you guys. Sorry. He looked at Pikachu. Let's go, Pikachu. Pikachu jumped onto Onik's shoulder, ready to go, but Professor Vihan raised a hand. Wait, Onik. It's getting late. Also. He glanced at Ash. I heard from Professor Oak that you want to explore and participate in the Velhara League. Ash grinned. Yeah, that's right. Then you should go with Onik. Rest at his place tonight. Tomorrow, I'll give you a new Pokédex to help you navigate the Indian region and learn about local Pokémon. Alexa and I have some things to discuss privately. Ash stretched his arms. Sounds good to me. He stood up as Pikachu climbed onto his shoulder. Alright, let's go. As they walked down the street, the moonlight cast a soft glow on the road. Onik's eyes sparkled with excitement. I can't wait to see my family's reaction when they find out I won the Kalos League. Ash smiled knowingly. Yeah, I know that feeling. When you travel for a long time without seeing your family, you miss them. But coming back is always a mix of happiness and sadness. 10 minutes later, they arrived at Onik's beautifully crafted home with a well-maintained garden. Ash admired it. Wow, Onik. Your house looks amazing. Onik grinned. Thanks. Let's go in. He knocked on the door, and a woman's voice called from inside, coming. The door opened to reveal a woman with warm eyes and a gentle smile. Upon seeing Onik, her expression transformed into pure joy. My son. She rushed forward, wrapping Onik in a tight embrace, tears of happiness streaming down her cheeks. You finally came back home. Onik smiled, his eyes glistening. Yes, Mom. I'm home. Ash and Pikachu smiled warmly. Onik's mother wiped her tears and welcomed them inside. Come in, all of you. Once inside, Onik's mother smiled at Ash. I'm Priya Rathore. Thank you for being my son's friend. He's a bit shy around new people. Ash laughed. Oh, I've noticed. He extended his hand. I'm Ash Ketchum, 14 years old, from Pallet Town in the Kanto region. Nice to meet you. Priya smiled. From Kanto? That means you're here for the Velhara League? Yeah. Ash rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Also, when I first saw you, I thought you were Onik's older sister, not his mother. You look so young. Priya laughed. Oh, you know how to charm a woman, young man. A girl stepped into the room, her dark hair tied back neatly. This is Shruti, Onik's little sister, Priya introduced. Shruti looked at Ash with curiosity. You're the Kanto guy? Ash smiled. Yep. Priya clapped her hands. Alright, boys, take a bath. I'll prepare dinner. Ash, you're staying here tonight, right? Yes, Auntie. After they cleaned up and changed into fresh clothes, they played video games until dinner was ready. At dinner, Onik's father joined them, and they talked about Onik's journey. Ash watched the family's closeness with a soft gaze. You know, Ash said quietly, my dad was a lot like you, uncle. Kind and calm. Onik's father smiled. Where is he now? Ash's smile dimmed. He left for his Pokémon journey when I was little. And never came back. Onik's father's smile faded. That must have been hard. Ash forced a grin. But it's not a big deal. Let's eat. After dinner, Ash and Onik went out for a walk under the moonlight, their Pikachus playfully chasing each other ahead. "So, Onik," Ash asked, "what's your dream?" Onik smiled. "To explore the world, catch Pokémon from every region, and befriend them all." "What about you?" "I want to be a Pokémon Master," Ash said confidently. Onik's eyes widened. "Wow, that's huge." Ash laughed. "Your dream isn't small either." Onik scratched his head. "I've participated in 4 regional leagues, but Kalos was the first one I won." Ash nodded. "That's impressive." "I've competed in 10 leagues, won the Orange League and the Battle Frontier." Onik's eyes narrowed. "Wait. You're that experienced, but you've only won 2 leagues?" Ash's grin widened. "Well. Actually, I also won the Alola League." Onik froze. "Wait. That means—" Ash's grin grew. "I'm the Alola champion." Onik's jaw dropped. "You're a champion." Pikachu dropped his berry. "Pika." "Not just a champion," Ash smirked. "World champion." Onik stumbled back, gripping his head. What? I've been traveling with a world champion this whole time." Ash shrugged. "Guess so." Onik's fists clenched. "I have to train harder if I'm going to beat you one day." Ash's grin widened as the moonlight reflected in his eyes. "I'll be waiting for that day." The night breeze swirled around them as they returned to Onik's house, a peaceful end to a long journey. To be continued. Chapter 9, A New Trouble at Dawn in Velhara. The sun peeked through the windows of Onik's house as 2 Pikachu woke up early, stretching and yawning. They glanced over at Ash and Onik, who were still sprawled across the bed, snoring peacefully. Onik's Pikachu sighed and shook his head. "Pika." Ash's Pikachu narrowed his eyes playfully. "Pika Pika." He smirked. "I have an idea." Onik's Pikachu raised a brow, curious. Without hesitation, Ash's Pikachu charged up electricity and called out, "Pikachu, use Thunderbolt." Onik's Pikachu followed suit, and a bright flash of electricity filled the room. Ash and Onik shot upright, their hair standing on end from the electric shock. Ash rubbed his head, groaning, "Pikachu, was that really necessary?" Onik sat up, his hair spiked in every direction. "Ugh, yeah, thanks for waking us up, in the most painful way possible." The 2 Pikachu stood proudly, clearly pleased with themselves. Ash sighed. "Next time, maybe just shake me awake." Onik chuckled, "Yeah, like that's gonna happen." After a refreshing morning, Ash and Onik quickly showered and changed clothes, ready to head out. But before they could leave, Onik's mother, Priya, stood in the doorway with her hands on her hips. "Not so fast," she scolded. "In Velhara, tradition comes first, food before work." Ash smiled sheepishly. "Can't argue with that." They sat down to a hearty breakfast of curry and rice. Ash and Pikachu practically inhaled their meal while Onik took his time. Once finished, they finally set off toward Professor Vihan's house. As they walked down the sunlit street, Ash stretched his arms and asked, "Onik, are you really not going to stay with your family?" Onik smiled. "Nah, I'm walking with you one last time." "You're traveling across India now, right?" "In 2 months, I'm heading to Kanto for the Indigo League." Pikachu's ears perked up. "Pika, Pika." Ash grinned. "That's the spirit. If you win the Indigo League, I'll be cheering for you." Onik rubbed the back of his head. "Thanks. You be careful too, there are some strong trainers in Velhara." Ash's eyes gleamed. "Let's do our best until the next World Championship." Onik extended his fist, and Ash bumped it with his own. "Yeah." Their Pikachu mirrored the gesture, tapping their paws together before giggling. They reached Professor Vihan's home a few minutes later. The professor stood at the door, arms crossed. "So, you finally made it," he said. Ash scratched his head. Yeah, why were you waiting for us? Vihan's eyes narrowed. Did you forget already? I told you yesterday I'd give you your new Pokédex today and you need to register for the Velhara League. Without registration, you can't challenge any gyms. Ash's eyes widened. Wait, really? Onik sighed. Seriously, Ash? How are you a world champion and still clueless about the basics? Pikachu folded his arms and shook his head. Pika. Ash laughed nervously. Hee hee, okay, I'm ready now. Professor Vihan handed Ash a sleek, black and white Pokédex with a round white button on top. Ash's eyes widened. Wow, it looks so cool. Vihan nodded. It's loaded with data from your old Pokédex. Press the white button, and it'll scan Pokémon in real time. Ash pressed the button, and a thin, blue holographic screen extended from the side of the device. He aimed it at the starter Pokémon display. Fire Cublaze, fire, fierce cub Pokémon, Cublaze fur flickers like dancing flames when it's excited. Its sharp senses allow it to detect danger from miles away, and its playful nature hides a fiercely protective instinct. Ability, Blazing Spirit, increases fire-type move power by 30% when HP drops below 50%. Water Wave Aquar, water, serpent hatchling Pokémon, Aquar's sleek body allows it to glide effortlessly through water. Its silver markings shimmer under moonlight, calming those who gaze upon it. Ability, Aqua Veil, prevents status conditions in rainy weather. Increases water-type move power by 30% and boosts speed and attack by 20%. Herb Sproutalon, grass, leaf wing Pokémon, Sproutalon's leafy wings allow it to sense shifts in the wind. Its sharp gaze makes it a skilled hunter. Ability, Overgrow, boosts the power of grass-type moves by 50% when HP is below 1. Ash grinned. Awesome. Now I'm ready to start my journey. Onik smiled. Good luck, Ash. Remember, every gym leader in Velhara has their own unique battle style. Stay sharp. Ash nodded. Got it. Onik's Pikachu waved goodbye to Ash's Pikachu as they left. Ash and Pikachu gave a thumbs up. Thanks, Professor. They walked through the city toward their first gym destination. After about 5 minutes, a girl brushed past Ash, moving fast. A soft breeze followed her, carrying a faint floral scent. Ash blinked. Did you see that? Pikachu tilted his head. Pika. Shaking it off, they continued walking for another 30 minutes until they reached the edge of a dense forest. Ash frowned. Looks pretty big, huh, Pikachu? Pikachu nodded. Pika, Pika. They entered the forest, wandering for over an hour without finding a way out. Afternoon sunlight filtered through the trees. Ash sighed. We're lost. Pikachu's stomach growled. Pie, ka. Good thing we brought lunch. Ash said, unpacking food from Onik's house. Just as they were about to eat, a blur of yellow and silver flashed past. Their food vanished. Ash stood up. Hey! A small Pidgey with bright yellow and silver feathers hovered above them, a mischievous glint in its sharp eyes. Electric sparks crackled at the tips of its wings. Ash's Pokédex beeped. India Pidgey, Velharic form, electric flying, Pidgey from the Velhara region generates static electricity while flying. Its wings create a small electric charge with every flap. Ability, Static Flight, contact with this Pokémon may cause paralysis. Increases flying type move power by 30% when hit by an electric type move. Ash clenched his fist. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt. Pikachu fired a bolt of lightning, but the Pidgey zipped left, easily dodging it. What the? Ash's eyes narrowed. It's fast. The Pidgey smirked and flew off with the rest of their lunch. Ash's eye twitched. Oh, now it's personal. They chased the Pidgey deeper into the forest. Suddenly boom. Ash collided with someone running from the opposite direction. Hey, watch it. They both tumbled to the ground. Around them, dozens of Pidgey hovered menacingly, electricity crackling around them. Ash groaned. Great, now what? The scarred Pidgey hovered in front of the others, its glowing eyes fixed on Ash. Pikachu, Ash muttered, standing up. Looks like we've got a battle on our hands. To be continued. Chapter 10, Reunion with Brock and Catching a New Pokémon. Professor, what should I choose? All of them look so cute and cool, Mahiru said, eyes glued to the Pokémon displayed on her Pokédex. And their abilities are amazing. Professor Vihan smiled warmly. Choose whatever fits your personality and future goals, whether it's the Pokémon Championship, becoming a Pokémon coordinator, or a Pokémon breeder. This is your choice, Mahiru. Think it through carefully. Onik smirked. Does she even have a brain for that? Professor Vihan struggled to hold back a laugh. Mahiru's face darkened. Be quiet, you idiot. I know exactly what I'm doing. She crossed her arms and smiled confidently. I'll choose Aquor. Its elegance and strength will be perfect for contests and for showing Onik that I'm not to be underestimated. Onik raised an eyebrow. So, you're going for Aquor, huh? That's a decent pick, but I'll still be one step ahead of you. Mahiru smirked. Keep dreaming. Professor Vihan adjusted his glasses. Sounds like you've made up your mind. I look forward to seeing how you and Aquor grow together. Just then, the doorbell rang. Professor Vihan adjusted his glasses. Hold on, someone's at the door. Pikachu, get ready. We've got company. Ash stood with his fists clenched as a flock of Pidgey circled above. But something was off. Golden sparks flickered around their wings. Ash's eyes narrowed. Wait. Are they using Thunderbolt? Suddenly, bright yellow bolts erupted from the flock of Pidgey, striking the ground and tearing through the air. The shockwave exploded in every direction, crashing into Ash and the figure standing nearby. Ack! Ash stumbled back, his muscles seizing under the voltage. What is going on? Pikachu's red cheeks flared with light. Pika! Electricity poured toward him in jagged bolts. Pikachu's body absorbed the charge effortlessly. His fur stood on end as golden sparks danced across his body. Ash, trembling, forced himself to look at Pikachu. His eyes widened when he saw the storm of electricity swirling around Pikachu's body. Pikachu. Pikachu's eyes narrowed with deadly focus. His entire body pulsed with golden light. Pika. Choo. A pulse of static exploded outward. Pikachu redirected the absorbed energy back toward the ground, grounding the excess charge with a loud crack. Ash's hair stood completely on end. He sat up slowly, patting his head in horror. Oh no. Brock sat up next to him, his hair also standing straight up. Ash blinked. Brock. Your hair, Brock smirked. What about yours? Ash pulled out his phone, checked his reflection. His spiky black hair was now a fluffy static-charged mess. Ah! I look like a Joltik. Brock laughed, his own hair standing up like a Sudowoodo. Look on the bright side, Brock teased. At least you've got volume now. Ash groaned. Pikachu, you really overdid it this time. Pikachu sat proudly with sparks crackling across his fur. Pika Pika. Ash's face flattened. Yeah. You're cute. But seriously, look at me. Brock patted Ash's shoulder. Don't worry, Ash. Maybe you'll start a new hair trend. Ash sighed. If Misty sees me like this, she'll never let me live it down. Suddenly, Ash froze. He whipped toward Brock, his eyes widening. Wait. Brock? What are you doing here? Brock rubbed his neck. Nice to see you too, Ash. Ash's mouth dropped open. Then he pointed dramatically at Brock. Why didn't you say something earlier? Brock smiled. I thought you'd figure it out. Ash facepalmed. You've been standing here this whole time and you didn't think to say anything. Brock shrugged. I wanted to see how long it would take you. Ash groaned. Some things never change. An explosion rocked the forest. Ash jumped to his feet. What was that? Smoke rose in the distance. Pokémon cries echoed through the forest. They sprinted toward the source of the blast and stopped in shock. A massive Meowth-shaped robot towered over the clearing. A reinforced steel net hung from its arms, trapping dozens of Pidgey. No way. Prepare for trouble, and make it double. Jesse, James, and Meowth grinned down from the robot. We're not leaving until we've got all the Velhara Pidgey. Jesse smirked. Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Pikachu's electric surge struck the robot but it didn't even dent it. James laughed. This robot's shockproof. Ash narrowed his eyes. Alright. Time for backup. Greninja, let's go. Greninja appeared in a flash of light, water swirling around him. Jesse's eyes widened. Greninja. Ash grinned. Greninja Water Shuriken. Greninja launched 5 shurikens. 2 severed the net, 1 hit the robot's arm joint, and the last 2 exploded on impact. The robot trembled. Jesse panicked. Abort mission. Too late. Ash shouted. Greninja vaulted into the air, his eyes glowing with fierce light. Greninja Water Pulse. A massive blast of water struck the robot's core. Kaboom. Looks like Team Rocket's blasting off again. Man, I'm starving, Ash grumbled, holding his stomach as they walked down a forest path. Pika. Pikachu rubbed his belly in agreement. Brock rolled his eyes. Of course you're hungry, when are you not? After walking for about 5 minutes, Brock spotted a perfect spot, a clear area near a gently flowing river, with a massive tree providing shade. This will work, Brock said. He dropped his bag and began unpacking supplies. Ash, start setting up the tent. Pikachu, gather some sticks for the fire. Pikachu nodded and dashed off to gather twigs. Ash fumbled with the tent, struggling to keep it upright. Brock. A little help. Brock sighed, walked over, and fixed the poles in one swift motion. How are you still bad at this? It's not my fault. Ash protested as Pikachu returned with a pile of sticks balanced on his head. Krogunk stood nearby, arms crossed, observing them like a supervisor. Brock lit the fire effortlessly and began cooking. He sliced vegetables with precision, stirred a pot of stew, and added seasoning while Ash and Pikachu sat nearby, their mouths watering. Brock, you really should open a restaurant, Ash said. Brock chuckled. Yeah, but then who'd cook for you? After about an hour, Brock called out, lunch is ready. Just as Ash and Pikachu were about to eat, a sudden gust of wind swept through the camp. Thud. A familiar figure landed in front of Ash. It was the Velharic Pidgey. Ash's eyes narrowed. You again. Pidgey's feathers sparked with golden light. Its eyes were sharp and determined. Pika. Pikachu tensed, sparks flickering from his cheeks. Ash. Brock said, his voice serious. I think it wants to battle you. Ash grinned. Alright, Pidgey. If you want to battle, let's see what you've got. Pikachu stepped forward, cheeks sparking. Pika Pika. Pidgey's body crackled with electricity. Pikachu quick attack. Pikachu blurred forward, but Pidgey shot into the air with incredible speed. What? Pidgey fired a thunderbolt. The golden bolt streaked toward Pikachu. Dodge it. Pikachu leapt aside just in time, the attack scorching the ground where he stood. It knows Thunderbolt. Brock shouted in shock. Pikachu, counter with Iron Tail. Pikachu's tail glowed silver as he spun toward Pidgey, but Pidgey shot upward, dodging with ease. Pidgey fired another thunderbolt. Absorb it. Pikachu's cheeks sparked as he caught the attack, absorbing the electricity into his body. His fur bristled with charged energy. Pika. Ash's eyes sharpened. Alright, Pikachu Thunderbolt, now. Pikachu unleashed a massive burst of electricity. Pidgey tried to evade BZZZZZT. Direct hit. Pidgey crashed to the ground with a surprised chirp. Quick attack. Pikachu rushed forward, striking Pidgey hard and sending it skidding across the ground. Ash pulled out a Pokeball. Alright, let's see if you're ready to join the team. Ash tossed the ball. Shake. 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 Click. Ash picked it up, holding it high. Yes. I caught. Velharic Pidgey. Pidgey floated out of the ball, perching on Ash's shoulder. Sparks crackled around its body as it chirped confidently. Ash smiled. Welcome to the team. Brock crossed his arms. Ash. You realize that's an electric flying type Pidgey, right? Ash grinned. Yeah. Which means we're going to be unstoppable. Brock smirked. Well, looks like things are about to get interesting. Ash's eyes glinted with excitement. Let's see how far we can go together. Pikachu, Pidgey, and Greninja stood behind Ash, ready for whatever came next. Chapter 11, Goodbye Greninja again. Pikachu, use Thundershock. A bolt of electricity crackled through the air, surging toward Pidgey. Pidgey, dodge and counter with Gust. Pidgey flapped its wings hard, summoning a powerful gust of wind that deflected the attack. The force sent Pikachu skidding slightly backward. Pikachu, counter with Iron Tail. Pikachu leaped into the air, its tail glowing silver. With a swift spin, it sliced through the gust and landed a clean hit on Pidgey. The tiny bird tumbled to the ground with a soft thud. Ash grinned. Nice job, Pikachu. And Pidgey, you're improving a lot. Keep training, and soon you'll be outmaneuvering even the fastest flying types. He turned toward the two small, round Pokémon beside him, twins with tiny dragon-like wings. Evereth, did you two watch that? Now it's your turn. Let's see some basic attacks. The twin Pokémon chirped excitedly, flapping their wings in anticipation. Black Evereth, use Tackle. White Evereth, you too. Just as they prepared to charge, Brock called out, Hey, Ash. Let's take a break, lunch is ready. The mere mention of food sent Ash and his Pokémon racing toward the delicious aroma. Pikachu, both Evereth, and Pidgey zoomed ahead while Greninja followed at his usual cool, calculated pace, arms crossed like an action hero. Ash sniffed the air and sighed blissfully. Brock, what's on the menu today? Smells amazing. Brock adjusted his headband proudly. A special vegetable and rice dish. I toned down the spice a bit so everyone can enjoy it. Ash scoffed. Brock, come on. You know I can handle spice. Brock smirked. Yeah. Like that time you said that and drank 5 bottles of water in 10 minutes. Ash rubbed the back of his head. That was, a tactical hydration strategy. Brock rolled his eyes and handed out the plates. Let's eat. Their Pokémon got their share first, happily digging in. Ash and Brock sat down, clasped their hands, and prayed before eating. Their Pokémon, watching, copied the gesture. Greninja, Krogunk, and the others did it effortlessly, while Pidgey and both Evereth awkwardly pressed their tiny wings together in an adorable attempt. Thanks for the food. Ash and Brock said in unison before diving in. Ash took one bite and lit up. Brock, your cooking just keeps getting better. Brock blushed slightly. Ah, thanks, Ash. If you keep complimenting me like that, maybe a princess will finally take my hand in marriage. Ash nearly choked on his food laughing. Yeah, right. Maybe she'll be a gym leader or a nurse. Oh wait, aren't those the same women who keep rejecting you? Brock face planted into his rice. Ash, you wound me. Krogunk smirked and subtly raised a hand, preparing to jab Brock if he got too dramatic. After lunch, the group packed up and resumed their journey. Ash let Pidgey fly ahead to scout the path. As they walked, he glanced at both Evereth, who bounced along happily beside him. Hey Brock, have you ever seen Pokémon like these two before? Brock adjusted his backpack and inspected them. Nope, never. Their round bodies look like a mix between a sponge and a rubber ball. But those dragon wings are definitely a unique trait. Ash nodded. Yeah. And the coolest part? They're twins. They look the same, but their colors are different. Evereth is black and soft red, and the other Evereth is white and soft light blue. Brock hummed in thought. They must be dragon types. Maybe part dark or fairy, considering their shape, color, and behavior. Ash beamed. I can't wait to train them. I bet they'll become powerful battlers someday. Just as he said that, both Evereth tried to take flight, but instead of soaring majestically, they wobbled, flapped wildly, and crash-landed into Pikachu. Pika. Pikachu yelped, now buried under two dragon sponges. Ash and Brock burst out laughing. Ash picked them up. Okay, maybe training first, then flying. And with that, they continued forward, ready for whatever adventure awaited them next. 2 days later. Tired but triumphant, Ash, Brock, and Pikachu finally emerged from the dense forest after 5 grueling days. They had reached Konkan, a coastal city near Goa, nestled along Maharashtra's beautiful shores. Finally. Ash stretched his arms. Man, I thought we'd never make it. Brock sighed. I told you taking shortcuts through a dense forest was a bad idea. Ash pouted. How was I supposed to know it had that many bug types? Pikachu and I almost became dinner. The duo made their way to the Pokémon Center, where they checked in for the night. After settling in, Ash called his mom, sharing his first experiences in India. Brock, too, phoned home, updating his parents on his unexpected reunion with Ash. Next, they called Professor Vihan, who listened eagerly as Ash described his new Pokémon. The moment both Evereth popped out and chirped, Eva. Eva. Reth, the professor's jaw dropped. This is incredible. A brand new Pokémon species. Ash, do you realize what this means? We have to document this immediately. Ash grinned. That's why I called you, Professor. I caught them while traveling in Galar, but they never spoke until we entered Mumbai's forest. After a wild encounter with a group of Pidgey, a thunderbolt accidentally struck them, and that's when they spoke for the first time. Professor Vihan adjusted his glasses. Fascinating. You and your Pokémon always seem to stumble upon the most extraordinary discoveries. Best of luck on your journey, Ash. He hung up excitedly, eager to start his research. Next, Ash dialed Professor Oak. The familiar sight of the professor enjoying a bowl of ramen greeted them. Ah, Ash, Pikachu. And Brock. Long time no see. You three doing okay? Brock nodded. Nice to see you, Professor. We finally made it to Konkan. Konkan? That means your first target is Goa's gym. Oak said enthusiastically. Just then, Mook appeared and, as always, slammed into the professor, knocking his ramen over. Ash chuckled. Hey, Mook. Nice to see you too. But Professor, I've got big news. He took out a Pokeball. Meet my old friend. Greninja, come on out. Greninja emerged, standing tall. Oak's eyes widened. Greninja. Wow, it's been a while. Ash placed a hand on Greninja's shoulder. Greninja, I love battling with you, but in every new region, I want to train new Pokémon. That's why I need you to take on a new responsibility: train my whole Pokémon team. You're one of my strongest Pokémon, and I want everyone to reach your level. Think you can handle that? Greninja stared at Ash for a moment, then nodded firmly. Professor Oak blinked. Ash, are you sure? Greninja could be your ace here. Ash smiled. Yeah, I know. But I trust my new Pokémon, and I'll call Greninja when I really need him. For now, he's got an important job to do. Oak nodded. Understood. Don't worry, Ash, I'll take good care of him. That night, Professor Oak introduced Greninja to Ash's Pokémon, Bulbasaur. Oak asked Bulbasaur to call all the Kalos Pokémon, and Bulbasaur shot a signal into the sky. Moments later, Talonflame, Noivern, and Hawlucha arrived, surrounding Greninja with joy. Normally calm and composed, Greninja couldn't hide his happiness as he embraced his old friends. Professor Oak smiled, knowing the training ahead would be intense. Under the soft glow of the moon, the moment felt surreal, as if the past and present were converging. Oak turned to Bulbasaur and instructed him to call the others. Bulbasaur nodded and sent a bright signal into the sky. Soon, the distant flapping of wings and rustling of leaves signaled their arrival. Talonflame soared down, Noivern glided in gracefully, and Hawlucha landed dramatically, striking a heroic pose. As soon as they saw Greninja, time seemed to freeze for a moment. Then, in a blur of motion, they rushed forward, surrounding him with pure joy. Noivern let out an excited screech, Talonflame flapped its wings enthusiastically, and Hawlucha patted Greninja's shoulder with an energetic grin. Greninja, known for his serious nature, felt something stir within him. The weight of battles and separations melted away in the warmth of this reunion. His usual stoic expression softened, and he embraced his old friends. For a moment, there were no words, only emotions, unspoken yet deeply understood. They had fought together, laughed together, and shared victories and defeats. And now, they were together again. The next morning, Greninja stood before all of Ash's Pokémon, ready to train them. Outside the Pokémon Center, Ash stretched, preparing to leave for Goa and his first gym battle, with Pikachu perched excitedly on his shoulder. Inside, Brock was predictably flirting with Nurse Joy. Krogunk sighed and, with a swift motion, sent Brock to the floor. Ash burst out laughing. Alright, Brock. Let's go. Our journey's just getting started. To be continued. Chapter 12, Goa Adventures. Brock asked Ash if he was really okay with sending Greninja back to Professor Oak's lab, noting that Ash hadn't even used him in his first gym battle in India. Ash shrugged, admitting he usually liked to build a new team whenever he visited a new region, but Brock made a good point. Brock suggested that maybe Ash should have Greninja battle once before sending him back, to give the fans what they wanted. Ash agreed, saying Greninja deserved at least one big moment before heading home. As they arrived in Goa, the sight was breathtaking: turquoise waves, golden sand, and palm trees swaying in the breeze. Ash's eyes sparkled with excitement. Whoa! Pikachu, look at this place. Pikachu responded with wide, sparkling eyes. The two sprinted toward the beach, while Brock got a little distracted by a group of women walking along the seashore. Krogunk, however, was quick to intervene, dragging Brock away. Ash turned his attention to a group of trainers gathered around two battling Pokémon. Curious, he approached them. Hi. I'm Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town, Kanto. I'm here for the Velhara League. Mind telling me where we are? One trainer introduced himself as Ansh and explained they were in Goa, specifically Panaji, the capital. Brock, limping back, commented on the beauty of the women there, prompting a warning from Krogunk. Suddenly, a loud voice echoed across the beach, challenging anyone to take on his Gyarados. The trainer stood confidently with his massive Gyarados looming behind him. Ansh sighed, explaining that the trainer, Prince, had already won 3 battles that day and that most trainers had mid-stage Pokémon. Ash clenched his fists and stepped forward. Well, maybe I do. I challenge you. Prince scoffed, doubting Ash's ability with his Pikachu. But Ash grinned, ready to surprise him. The battle began, and Pikachu zipped around with lightning-fast agility, leaving Gyarados struggling to keep up. With a well-aimed thunderbolt, Gyarados was launched back into the ocean with a huge splash. The crowd was in shock. Anch exclaimed how insane the battle was, and Ash shared his belief that with hard work and trust in their Pokémon, anything was possible. Anch thanked Ash, feeling motivated to train harder. Brock inquired about the local gym, and Anch informed them that the gym leader, Roy, specialized in water types and only accepted challenges from trainers using water Pokémon. Ash realized he needed to train a water type quickly. Brock then asked about breeder contests, and Anch mentioned the Gone Breeders Challenge happening at Baga Beach. Excited, Ash and Brock decided to head there, hopping into a taxi. Upon arrival, they were greeted by a vibrant scene filled with colorful tents and trainers pampering their Pokémon. Brock's eyes sparkled as he declared it a breeder's dream come true. He quickly registered for the contest, eager to showcase his skills. Just then, a girl bumped into Ash, nearly dropping her Pokeball. Whoa! You okay? Ash asked, catching it. Sorry, she replied, catching her breath. I'm Aditi, and I'm super late for the breeder contest. Brock stepped in with a smile. You're a breeder too. That's wonderful. I'm a Brock-certified breeder, ex-gym leader, full-time gentleman. Aditi smiled nervously. I'm entering with my gloom. Honestly, I'm kinda nervous. Don't worry. Just believe in your bond with Gloom. You'll do great. Ash encouraged her. Aditi blushed slightly. Thanks, Ash. As Aditi rushed off toward the contest area, Brock elbowed Ash playfully. Looks like you've made a new fan, Brock teased. Hey, I'm just being nice. Ash laughed. Still. If she makes it to the finals, she might be my competition. Brock replied. You're not worried, are you? Ash asked. Of course not. But I'll admit, this contest just got more exciting, Brock smirked. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light over the beach, Ash and Brock walked side by side, talking and laughing. Imagine if Misty were here, she'd go wild over all these water types, Ash said. Yeah, she'd probably try to hug a tentacle and get stung, Brock chuckled. And then blame me somehow. Ash added. Some things never change. Brock replied. With new friends made and new challenges on the horizon, Ash and Brock were ready to dive into the next adventure. What surprises would tomorrow's contest bring? Stay tuned. Chapter 13, Ash and Brock's Different Dreams and Different Paths. A new dawn painted the Velhara skies in soft hues of gold and sapphire, casting a gentle glow across the island's sleepy coastline. The scent of frangipani mingled with the salty tang of the sea breeze, whispering promises of a day brimming with adventure. Ash stood still for a brief moment, letting the warmth of the rising sun touch his face. Beside him, Pikachu stretched, cheeks crackling faintly as if sharing his partner's excitement. Another day, huh, buddy? Ash said softly, his voice carrying a familiar thrill. Pika. Pikachu replied, tail swaying cheerfully. Brock's usual calm demeanor was replaced with an unusual spark today. His steps were brisk, checklist in hand, his eyes scanning every detail of his preparations. He clutched the paper tightly, as if it contained more than just a plan but his hopes, his dreams. Ash noticed and smiled knowingly. Guess someone's finally catching the contest bug, huh? Brock let out a rare chuckle. Guess I am. Today's not just about showing skills. It's about proving to myself I belong here. With a bright crackle of energy, Pikachu hopped onto Ash's shoulder, and the trio set off toward the Velhara contest arena. Their path wound through blooming hibiscus and rows of jasmine, filling the air with sweetness. The morning buzzed with laughter and distant Pokémon cries, a melody that stirred Ash's heart like an old, familiar song. The contest arena. The arena sprawled before them like a festival of colors and excitement. Trainers and breeders moved about like dancers in a grand ballet of nerves and anticipation. Pokémon of every shape and size were groomed with tender care, fur brushed to perfection, scales polished until they gleamed under the soft island sun. A shining Arcanine glowed like liquid gold under careful strokes. Nearby, a girl lovingly decorated her shiny Torkoal with ribbons the color of ripe papayas. Brock's eyes, sharp yet soft, searched the crowd until they landed on a familiar figure. "Morning, Aditi," he called, waving with an easy grin. Aditi turned, startled at first, but her face brightened as she caught sight of them. "Brock! You made it," she beamed, though her hands fidgeted at her sides. "Looks like the contest nerves hit you too," Brock teased gently. Aditi nodded, cheeks coloring faintly. "It's a lot. But I'm ready." She glanced past Brock, searching. "Where's Ash?" Brock chuckled. "Gave us space today. Said it's your moment to shine without his shadow looming." Aditi bit her lip, a shy smile tugging at her mouth. "Oh. I see. You want me to call him over?" Brock teased, eyebrow raised. "And maybe, just for a minute," she whispered, fiddling with her hair. But before Brock could even reach his phone, the loudspeakers roared to life. "Contestants, please proceed to receive your participant numbers." Duty called, pushing aside fluttering hearts. Brock and Aditi exchanged a glance, their expressions steady despite the racing pulses within. Brock received number. Aditi held number 20 carefully in her trembling hands. The contest format echoed across the arena. First round, 50 participants. Second round, top 30 advance. Third round, top 20 showcase. Final battle, top 8 face-off. A sea of whispers followed, the weight of the challenge pressing on all present. The waiting room. Inside the preparation area, tension wrapped the trainers like a second skin. Some whispered pep talks to their Pokémon, others busied themselves with last-minute grooming. Brock sat beside Aditi, calmly adjusting the ribbons on his Chansey. Aditi brushed her Gloom's petals with loving care, humming softly. The mood cracked as Brock's phone buzzed. "Ansh," Brock said, passing it to Ash, who had quietly returned. "Hey, Ansh. What's up?" Ash's tone turned sharp as he heard urgency on the line. "The gym's reopening today," Ansh replied. "But only for today. It closes for a month after this." Ash's hand clenched the phone tighter. "A month? Why?" "Leader reselection PRD across Velhara. You miss this, you're stuck." Ash's chest tightened. Pikachu blinked up at him, sensing the inner tug-of-war. "What's wrong, Ash?" Brock asked quietly. "If I miss this battle, it's a whole month wasted." Ash sighed, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Without hesitation, Brock typed quickly. "Tell the gym leader Ash is on his way." Ash blinked, caught off guard. "But Brock, this is your contest. I should stay." Aditi smiled gently, placing a soft hand on his arm. "Ash, you always cheer for others. Let us cheer for you this time." Brock nodded firmly. "We'll chase our dreams here. You chase yours." The knot in Ash's chest loosened. Their words filled him with warmth and renewed focus. Pikachu sparked approvingly. "Yeah. You're right." Ash grinned wide and true. "Pika Pie." Ash turned to them, his backpack secured. "Alright, Pikachu, let's go." He flashed them a thumbs up as he headed toward the exit. "Good luck. I know you'll win this. Count on it." Brock shot back. "Do your best, Ash." Aditi called after him, waving. But as Ash pushed through the crowd, two unfamiliar trainers brushed past him. Their faces blank, their auras unreadable. Pikachu's ears twitched, tail flicking as static buzzed faintly. It glanced back. But Ash, his mind racing ahead, didn't notice. On the way to the gym. The taxi ride was a blur of lush forests, sleepy villages, and shimmering coastlines. Ash sat quietly, his fingers drumming against his knee. Battle strategies clashed in his mind, but his heart beat with a familiar thrill. The gym rose before him, a sleek structure crowned with flowing water motifs, its glass walls gleaming like waves caught in the morning sun. Ansh stood waiting. Beside him, a young boy barely older than 13 watched Ash carefully. "Ash, this is Roy," Ansh introduced. "Our water-type gym leader. 18, but don't let that fool you." Roy nodded politely, but his eyes held a calm intensity that hinted at his strength. "Let's go." Ash followed, the inside of the gym resembling an underwater cathedral, serene and vast, echoing with the songs of Pokémon swimming beyond glass walls. The soothing splash of waterfalls filled the air. They entered the arena, a blue-lit chamber where ripples danced across the pool-like battlefield. "Hina, come here," Roy called. A girl appeared, her eyes locking onto Ash's with a spark of recognition. "Ash Ketchum, right? You've got mail." She handed him a small box. Ash blinked. "From Professor Vihan?" Opening it slowly, he unfolded a note. His breath caught. "It's from Mom," he said softly. The letter's words washed over him like a gentle tide, encouragement, love, and belief in his journey. Beneath it lay a new outfit, his classic look reborn, streaked with Velhara's deep blues and aqua, golden trims threading whispers of his past journeys. Roy gestured toward a side room. "You might want to suit up." Minutes later, Ash stepped back onto the field, the new outfit fitting him like destiny itself. Ansh whistled. Looking sharp. But the mood shifted as Roy's playful smile vanished. His grip tightened around a pokeball. "You'll need 3 water types. Ready?" Ash's confidence faltered just for a moment. "Not yet, but..." As if on cue, a butler wheeled in a transfer machine. Ash quickly contacted Professor Oak. 2 Pokeballs appeared, Greninja and Dracovish. Then, a third shimmered in the beam. Professor Oak's voice crackled through. "Sending you a surprise, Ash. Good luck." Ash's eyes sparkled. He clenched all 3 Pokeballs, his spirit rekindled. With his cap turned backward, he locked eyes with Roy. "Let's do this." Roy smirked, raising his own Pokeball. Velhara Water Gym battle begin. Their Pokeballs flew. "Dracovish, let's go." Ash roared. "Levigwell, show them your fangs." Roy commanded. Twin flashes. Water roared as Dracovish splashed down, jaws snapping, eyes blazing. Across the mist, Levigwell emerged, obsidian scales reflecting blue light, fangs gleaming, its gaze cold and predatory. For a heartbeat, the world fell silent. 2 apex predators locked eyes. Water rippled. Power stirred beneath the surface. Ash clenched his fists. "This won't be easy, Dracovish." Roy smirked. "That's what makes it fun." The referee raised his hand. Battle begin. To be continued. Chapter 14, The Velhara Gym Battle. Ash vs. Roy, Clash of Bonds. The Velhara Gym pulsed with electric excitement. The stands buzzed with eager voices, merging into a roaring chorus that echoed through the aquatic arena. Shimmering blue lights danced over the pools and jagged rocks, bathing the battlefield in a mystical glow. Every breath carried the weight of anticipation. At one end, Ash Ketchum stood tall, the brim of his cap shading determined eyes. A familiar grin spread across his face, not arrogance, but the grin of a challenger ready to embrace the thrill of battle. Opposite him, Roy adjusted his gloves, his stance steady, gaze sharp and unwavering. "Stay sharp, Ash. I won't hold back." Ash smirked, meeting that gaze. "Wouldn't expect anything less, Roy." A hush fell over the arena as the gym's poised butler, also acting as referee, stepped forward, raising a gloved hand. "Trainers, prepare for battle. This will be a 3-on-3 match. The trainer with the last Pokémon standing wins. Battle, begin." 2 Pokeballs soared into the air. Ash's first choice crashed onto the battlefield with a thunderous roar. Dracovish burst forth, jaws snapping fiercely, tail thrashing in eager anticipation. Across the field, Roy's Pokeball released a misty curtain, revealing Levigwell, a towering predator with sleek obsidian scales glinting under the lights. Its cold eyes locked onto Dracovish with lethal focus. Ash quickly opened his Pokédex. The calm mechanical voice filled the moment. Levigwell, the Abyss Predator Pokémon. It silently stalks prey before striking with devastating speed and power. Feared across Velhara's rivers. Ash grinned. "Looks tough. But we're ready." Roy returned the grin. "Then let's see it." Levigwell, Water Geyser. Levigwell inhaled deeply and unleashed a towering column of water, churning the arena's pools into a frothing tempest. Ash's eyes narrowed. "Dodge it, Dracovish. Close the distance." Dracovish twisted sharply, the geyser crashing into a pool nearby. Seizing the moment, it surged forward like a missile. "Dark Pulse." Roy called. A beam of dark energy slammed into Dracovish's side. The fossil Pokémon growled sharply, staggering. Ash clenched his fist. "Don't give up. Dragon Rush, now." Dracovish roared, its body crackling with draconic energy as it charged through the spray, crashing into Levigwell and sending ripples through the water. But Levigwell twisted midair, summoning a whirlpool barrier that absorbed much of the hit. Even staggered, it struck back with ruthless precision. "Shadow Crunch." Roy barked. Levigwell lunged, jaws glowing ominously, snapping toward Dracovish's throat. Ash's eyes blazed. "Dive under and counter with outrage." Dracovish vanished beneath the water, then exploded upward surrounded by a crimson aura, unleashing a brutal, frenzied assault. Each strike landed with raw power. Levigwell struggled but couldn't keep up. The relentless onslaught overwhelmed it, and the predator crumbled. Levigwell is unable to battle. Dracovish wins, the referee declared. The crowd erupted into cheers. Ash knelt beside Dracovish, patting its scaled head. "You were incredible, buddy." Dracovish let out a playful gnash and wagged its tail happily. Roy recalled Levigwell calmly, expression unreadable but respectful. "You've got bite, Ash. But this next one will test you even more." He tossed his next Pokeball high. "Titalox, come out." From a brilliant flash emerged Titalox, a mighty water-type clad in sleek scales, gripping an energy spear. Its piercing gaze locked onto Dracovish with unwavering focus. Ash studied it closely. Titalox, the Sea Warrior Pokémon. Master of Water and Ice. Known for its honor and fierce DSPLN. A slow smile spread across Ash's face. "A real warrior, huh? I like that." The arena's tension deepened. "Dracovish, Dragon Rush again." Ash commanded. Dracovish charged forward, crackling with draconic energy. Roy stayed composed. "Dragon Spear." Titalox hurled its glowing spear perfectly, piercing through Dracovish's charge. Sparks flew on impact. "Follow-up Ice Spear." Roy added sharply. The spear shimmered with chilling energy, striking Dracovish and encasing it in a shimmering shell of ice. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Ash's voice was steady but urgent. "Hold on, Dracovish." But Titalox advanced, shattering the ice with a powerful spear strike. Dracovish collapsed, the battle slipping away. Dracovish is unable to battle. Titleox wins, the referee confirmed. Ash quietly recalled Dracovish, a soft smile playing on his lips. You gave it everything. Proud of you. Roy crossed his arms, smirking. Your Dracovish is tough, but Titleox's DSPLN makes all the difference. Ash's grin returned. Then let's see how you handle this. Greninja, I choose you. A hush fell over the crowd. With a swirl of water, Greninja appeared silently, crouching low on a rocky outcrop. His eyes closed briefly, aura sharp and focused. The battle music shifted soft and intense, signaling rising stakes. Roy's smile deepened. This is going to be good. Titleox, Aqua Jet. Roy commanded. Titleox surged forward, water cloaking its form like a lance. Greninja, aerial ace dodge and strike. Ash called. Greninja vanished in a blur, slashing Titleox with precise, surgical strikes. The warrior stumbled into a jagged rock, wincing but steady. Aqua armor. Roy ordered. Titleox cloaked itself in a shimmering veil of water, reinforcing its defenses. Ash's eyes gleamed with resolve. Greninja, water shuriken, full power. Greninja formed spinning blades of water and launched them fiercely. The discs battered Titleox, forcing it to its knees. Dragon Spear. Roy countered. The spear flew toward Greninja, but Ash anticipated it. Leap and finish with Night Slash. Greninja soared high, letting the spear graze past him. Midair, dark energy shimmered around his arms as he slashed through Titleox's aqua armor. The force sent Titleox crashing hard. Titleox is unable to battle. Greninja wins, the referee declared. The stadium erupted in cheers. In the stands, Hina clutched the railing, eyes wide. Whoa! Greninja's incredible. Ench grinned beside her. Even if we trained for years, we probably wouldn't reach that level. Hina pouted. I'm still learning. That's why I'm watching so closely. Ench chuckled. Is Ash your secret teacher now? Flushing, Hina stammered, and no. It's not like that. Ash recalled Greninja with a proud smile, the bond between them clear in his eyes. Roy recalled Titleox, then smiled warmly. You've earned this, Ash. That was a battle to remember. Ash rubbed the back of his head, feeling shy. You're making me blush. I'm still learning, you know. Roy laughed. Then let's see if you can learn from my ace. He reached slowly for his last pokeball, fingers lingering. The crowd's excited chatter dimmed to a hush, whispers rolling like waves. Ash tightened. His grip on his own pokeball, anticipation rising. In the stands, Hina blinked. Huh. He's switching. But Greninja could have handled it. Ench scratched his head. I don't get Master sometimes. Roy caught their whispers and smiled knowingly. Ash doesn't battle just to win, Roy thought quietly, eyes closing for a moment. He battles because he loves it, and because he trusts all his Pokémon equally. Ash gave a quiet nod, sharing that silent understanding. Both trainers stood ready, poised for the next clash. Roy smiled firmly. Let's go, Dracora. Ash looked at his Pokeball, a surprised but genuine smile breaking through. I don't know who's inside, but I trust you completely. Let's enjoy this battle together. He threw the ball into the air. A brilliant splash of light exploded onto the field, and standing tall was a figure even Ash hadn't expected. A surprise, is truly surprising. To be continued. Chapter 15, Final Daring Wave. Ash vs Roy. The battlefield inside the Punagi gym was buzzing with energy. Trainers and spectators alike leaned forward, their eyes glued to the clash unfolding before them. Each match had grown more intense, and now, with only one round remaining, the tension was palpable. And then Greninja took the stage. In a flash, the ninja-like Pokémon overwhelmed his opponent with fluid grace and devastating speed. The battle ended in seconds, leaving the entire gym stunned into silence. But before the applause could begin, Ash calmly raised Greninja's Pokeball. Return. The red beam pulled Greninja back. Ash wasn't here just to win. He was here to challenge his Pokémon, to let them grow, to let them shine. He stepped forward and held up his next Pokeball. His eyes sparkled with confidence and trust. Let's go, buddy. A burst of brilliant white light exploded across the battlefield. From the light emerged a sleek, powerful figure, a proud, confident Floatzel, landing with a splash of water and flick of twin tails. Gasps echoed through the gym. Even Ash blinked in surprise. Guess the surprise was bigger than I thought. Roy smirked. I take it this is your third Pokémon, huh? Yeah. I trust you, Floatzel. Floatzel stood ready, sleek body shimmering under the lights. His sharp eyes locked onto his opponent with laser focus. A Floatzel. That's rare to see in India. I didn't think Ash had one, Hina exclaimed, eyes wide. Yeah, but can it really take on Dracora? That's Roy's starter. Rumor says it's unbeatable in water-type battles, Ansh replied. That's what makes this exciting. Look at Floatzel, he's confident. Fierce, Hina noted. This is gonna be epic, Ansh grinned. The referee raised the flags. This is the third and final battle. Begin. Roy wasted no time. Dracora, water gun go. A jet of high-pressure water ripped through the air, aimed straight at Floatzel. Floatzel, dodge. Floatzel darted to the side with blistering speed, the water blast missing by mere inches. Not bad. But how's this? Roy grinned. Impressive, but now it's our turn. Floatzel, water pulse. A glowing orb of swirling water formed between Floatzel's paws before launching toward Dracora with pinpoint precision. Counter it. Iron tail. Dracora's tail shimmered with a metallic sheen as it whipped forward, smashing through the water pulse. A spray of droplets burst across the field. But then Floatzel moved. Without a word from Ash, Floatzel cloaked himself in water and launched forward Aqua Jet, but with a twist. The jet spun in a corkscrew pattern, increasing its velocity and force. That Aqua Jet, it's rotating. Hina exclaimed. It's like a torpedo. Ansh added. Dracora wasn't ready. The spinning Aqua Jet slammed into him with a crushing impact. What? Roy exclaimed. Dracora was sent tumbling, landing hard as he shook off the damage. Consider that a little payback, Ash smirked. Alright, Ash, now things are heating up, Roy said, grinning with sharp eyes. Floatzel, sonic boom. Floatzel unleashed a series of slicing shockwaves toward Dracora. Steel fangs. Dracora leapt forward, jaws glowing with silver light. He chomped through the waves of sound, charging straight at Floatzel and managing to strike his leg. Now that's dominance. Dracora's like an apex predator, Hina said, biting her lip. But Floatzel's not backing down. Ash has something planned. I know it, Ansh replied. On the field, both Pokémon stared each other down, water dripping from their soaked fur and scales. I have to say, Ash, your Floatzel is strong. Really strong, Roy admitted. Thanks. We train hard together. You can always count on us to give it our all, Ash smiled. Then it's time I show you my trump card. He pulled a strange relic from his pocket, ornate, glowing with mysterious energy. A deep hum resonated through the gym as both the relic and a stone on Roy's wrist began to shine. A burst of light engulfed the battlefield. What is this? Ash exclaimed. This is Velkraith, a phenomenon from the Velhara region. This is Dracora's celestial form, Roy explained. As the light faded, Dracora's body had transformed larger, glowing with radiant patterns. His presence felt heavier, divine. Even Ash was stunned. I've never seen anything like that, Ash said. There are two types, Celestial and Beast. I'll explain more later. Right now, let's finish this, Roy stated. Suddenly, dark clouds gathered above the gym. Rain began to pour. It's one of Celestial Dracora's hidden abilities, weather control. Rain boosts his power, Roy announced. This just got a lot tougher. Floatzel, use Ice Punch. Ash commanded. Floatzel's fist glowed icy blue as he lunged forward. Aqua Tail. Roy called. Dracora's tail swelled with water, massive and swirling. He struck but Floatzel vanished. A crater formed where Aqua Tail landed. Where did Floatzel go? Hina exclaimed, her eyes scanning the battlefield. Then wham! Ice Punch struck Dracora's head from above. What? He was in the air. Roy shouted in surprise. Sorry, Roy. We're borrowing your rain, Ash said with a grin. Floatzel zipped through the rainfall, moving faster and more fluidly. Aqua Jet now. Ash commanded. Dracora, Aqua Tail. Roy responded, and the two water types collided, their attacks exploding in a shower of water and mist. You and your Floatzel, you're seriously something else, Roy panted. Then let's end this. Floatzel, Whirlpool. Ash instructed. Floatzel slammed his twin tails into the ground, creating a massive swirling vortex that pulled Dracora in. Dracora, Hydro Coil. Roy called out. Inside the vortex, Dracora coiled his body and used the momentum to blast out like a missile, scattering the whirlpool. Exactly what I wanted. Floatzel, Ice Fawn. Ash shouted. Floatzel emerged from the mist, his jaws glowing with icy energy. He clamped onto Dracora's tail, frost spreading fast. His tail! Roy exclaimed, alarmed. It won't freeze him completely. Just enough to slow him down, Ash reassured him. Dracora, Iron Tail and Hydro Coil go. Roy commanded. Floatzel, create a giant water pool, use the rain. Ash directed. Floatzel summoned water from all around, forming a vast pool that surged across the battlefield, trapping Dracora once more. Dracora tried to counter, slamming with Iron Tail and twisting with Hydro Coil, but Floatzel leapt again. Now, Floatzel Ice Punch. Ash called out. Wham! One punch. The entire water pool froze solid, locking Dracora in place. Now Sonic Boom. 100%. Ash shouted. The shockwave shattered the frozen field in a massive explosion. Smoke and ice covered everything. Silence fell over the gym. As the mist cleared, Dracora had collapsed, returned to his base form. Dracora is unable to battle. The winner is Ash Ketchum and Floatzel, the referee announced. The gym erupted with cheers. Even Roy's supporters were clapping for Ash. Ash turned the tide, literally. Hina said, her eyes wide with amazement. That's Ash Ketchum. Every Pokémon matters to him, Ansh smiled. Roy recalled Dracora with a proud smile. That was amazing, Ash. You used the battlefield and Floatzel's strengths perfectly. It's not about type advantages. It's about trust. Floatzel's been waiting for a battle like this, Ash replied, smiling back. Floatzel let out a joyful cry, spinning in the water before splashing Ash. Thanks, buddy. You were incredible, Ash laughed, kneeling to gently place a hand on his Pokémon's head. I can always count on you. He held out Floatzel's Pokeball. Return. You've earned a good rest. As Floatzel vanished into the ball, Ash turned to Roy. Thanks, Roy. But I've gotta hurry to Puniji, my best friends in the breeder contest. I promise to support him. Before you go here, Roy said, holding out a gleaming badge shaped like a wave. This is the Tide Badge. Proof of your victory. Ash took it with a grin. Thanks. We got our first Tide badge. He raised the badge high, and the crowd cheered again. Moments later, Ash was already dashing out of the gym, flagging down a taxi. That was fast. I didn't even get to say hi after the battle, Hina remarked, watching in disbelief. Just as she turned to leave, Roy called out, Hina, wait. Here. Can you give these to someone at the contest? He handed her a neatly wrapped package. Elsewhere, Brock had cleared the first 3 rounds of the breeder contest, Bonding and Care, Pokémon Cuisine, and the Breeder's Quiz. He had secured his spot in the top, and now Ash was racing to support him, as promised. What awaits our heroes next? One seeks to become a Pokémon Master. Another, the world's top breeder. But on the horizon, someone new is about to arrive. Chapter 16, The Breeder's Battle begins. Aditi asked Brock how he was feeling about being in the top 8 of his first contest. Honestly? I'm nervous. But excited too. I think I've got a real shot, he replied. Well, your recipes were amazing. The taste alone probably wowed the judges. Aditi encouraged. Brock chuckled, that's what happens when you cook from the heart. With enough practice and experience, you'll be right up here too. Thanks, Brock. That really helps. I feel way more relaxed now, Aditi smiled. At the contest hall, the 8 finalists stood proudly on stage beneath dazzling lights as the crowd roared with anticipation. A screen above flickered to life, tallying the results of the audience vote. Top 8 rankings. Arjun, 40 votes. Pihu, 30 votes. Sia, 15 votes. Ajay, 15 votes. Brock, 10 votes. Alex, 0 votes. Hitesh, 0 votes. Aditi, 0 votes. Murmurs rippled through the hall. Some contestants looked shocked, while others quietly nodded in acceptance. All 8 trainers will proceed to the battle rounds, beginning tomorrow, the announcer declared. The crowd erupted in cheers. As Brock and Aditi stepped off the stage, a cold gaze met them from across the hall. Rohan, arms crossed, lips tight with disdain. He turned silently and disappeared into the shadows. A moment later, Ash jogged in, grinning and slightly out of breath. Hey! Did I miss anything important? Just the announcement. The finals start tomorrow, Brock replied. Perfect. Aditi, you're in too? Ash asked. Yep. Nervous but super excited. Aditi said. That's awesome. Just believe in yourself and your Pokémon, Ash encouraged. What about your gym battle? Let me guess you won. Brock inquired. Barely. Those water types were relentless. 1 more minute, and I might have lost, Ash admitted. I hear you. Some of the Pokémon here are really different. It's been a good challenge, Brock said. The trio shared a laugh and made their way to the Pokémon Center. Inside, the lounge buzzed with quiet chatter. A warm voice called out, Ash. Over here. Hina waved from a cozy corner, sipping tea. Brock and Aditi exchanged curious looks. Oh. Let me introduce you. This is Hina. Met her at the gym. She helped me pick out these new clothes, Ash said. I knew something was different about your outfit, Brock noted. Way more comfortable now. Hina, this is Brock, my best friend from Kanto, and Aditi, a new friend from around here, Ash introduced. Pleasure to meet you both, Hina said. Likewise. Traveling with Ash is always unpredictable, Aditi remarked, and they all laughed. The evening unfolded with stories, food, and laughter, filled with tales of wild battles, misadventures, and dreams before they finally retired to their rooms. The next morning, contest day. Ash and Brock were up before sunrise, jogging through crisp morning air with Pikachu, Pidgey, the Evereth twins, and Krogunk in tow. Their breath misted in the air as they ran side by side, warming up for the day ahead. Around 9 a.m., Aditi and Hina joined them for a hearty breakfast. After a quick freshen up, they all made their way toward Baga Contest Hall. At the gate, 2 uniformed guards raised their hands. Only the top 8 contestants are allowed beyond this point. You'll be escorted to the preparation area. Brock and Aditi nodded and were led inside. Ash and Hina made their way to the spectator stands, which buzzed with excitement. As the final announcements echoed through the arena, the quarterfinal matchups appeared on the giant screen. Quarterfinals begin. Match 1, Alex vs Arjun. Arjun wasted no time. His commands were sharp, and his synergy with his Pokémon was flawless. Alex struggled to keep up as Arjun's Pokémon overwhelmed him with swift, coordinated moves. Though Arjun had previously lost to top-tier trainer Veer, the reigning Velhara breeder champion, today he appeared unstoppable. Result, Arjun wins decisively. Match 2, Aditi vs Sia. This match showcased a clash of styles, grace versus grit. Sia's elegant coordination clashed with Aditi's fiery improvisation. Each turn brought dazzling combos and clever plays, leaving the audience breathless as the clock ticked down. In the final moments, Aditi executed a perfectly timed maneuver, slipping past Sia's guard and landing the finishing move. Result, Aditi advances to the semi-finals. Match 3, Pihu vs Ajay. Pihu entered with quiet confidence. Her Pokémon moved like dancers, fluid, beautiful, and powerful. Ajay defended well but couldn't match her grace or timing. Result, Pihu wins with style and power. Match 4, Brock vs Hitesh. Brock called out, "Steelix, let's shake the field." Hitesh responded, "Go, Rukthara." The massive Steelix faced down the sleek, winged Rukthara, a rare flying dark type. Anticipation crackled in the air. Gyro Ball, create a metallic twister. Brock commanded. Steelix spun rapidly, stirring up a spiraling force of air and steel. Counter it, Twister. Hitesh shouted. The two moves collided midair in a roaring clash of energy. Now reverse rotation. Brock instructed. Steelix shifted gears mid-spin, skinging the dark vortex inward. The whirlwind exploded in a burst of chaotic energy, engulfing Rukthara. As the smoke settled, the referee declared, "Rukthara is unable to battle. Steelix wins." Aditi cheered, "Brock. That was amazing." Brock replied, "Thanks. You weren't too bad yourself. Let's give them a show in the semis." Short break, strategy talk. Ash exclaimed, "Wow, you both crushed it. Brock, you'd make a terrifying rival." Brock grinned, "That's the idea." Aditi playfully asked, "Wait. Have you been studying me?" "Of course. You tend to favor Flameon, Sparavi, Tatbur, and sometimes Gloom." "I planned for all of it," Brock explained. "Let me guess, bringing out Steelix again?" Aditi inquired. "Not this time," Brock replied. Semi-finals begin. Match 1, Arjun vs Pihu. Arjun called out, "Let's go, Leonarix." Ash's Pokédex beeped, revealing Leonarix as the warrior flame Pokémon, known for embodying the strength of 1,000 suns. Pihu responded, "Come on out, Gyarados. Flame charge." Arjun commanded. "Hydro pump intercept." Pihu countered. The fire streaked forward, but Leonarix nimbly dodged, leaping high above the blast. "Close combat now." Arjun shouted. "Aqua Tail." Pihu replied. The clash of elements filled the field with steam and sparks. With a final thunder punch, Leonarix broke through Gyarados' guard. Result, Gyarados is unable to battle. Arjun advances. Match 2, Aditi vs Brock. Aditi stepped forward, her eyes blazing with determination. "Gloom, let's show them our strength," she declared. Brock smirked, Krogunk, you're up. Gasps rippled through the audience. Ash remarked, wait. Not Steelix. Hina added, he's up to something. Aditi narrowed her eyes, her voice steady. You're holding back, she asserted. Brock replied confidently, nope. I'm going all in. Referee, trainers ready. Begin. To be continued.